Good evening, everyone. It's Off the Ropes, episode 47. We're going to talk a little wrestling as there was quite a bit of it this past weekend. And guys, I had to start off with a little Adam Cole music. Is some sad news coming out as Adam Cole did not get to compete this past weekend as he maybe done for good. Another concussion. I think I was reading somewhere like 16 or 17 concussions he's had. That's sad for him because I loved him in the ring. His character was always entertaining. I selfishly, I'd love to see him back in the ring, but you never want to see somebody continue to go through those concussions. Something about AEW, he's probably not in a good spot for not taking bumps. Welcome, Dirt Sheet Brandon Ogden, the Big Goose KO Kyle Owens, and Jeremy Diamond again back with us. I guess Jeremy, you got one little itch last episode and decided to join us again.
What can I say? I'm a sucker for a good time.
We need to add the Jim to his nickname. The Jim, Jeremy Diamond.
There
you go.
I like it.
Kyle, how's it going there, Kyle? You got your sound working, I see.
Bro, I don't know what the difference was. I clicked on the link from the last time. No audio. Like the mic I tried to switch to the computer audio, nothing. So then I was like, fine. So I clicked on the new link you sent tonight, and then all of a sudden it worked. So I don't know what the difference was, but
it should have been the same link. I just resend.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought, but it wasn't working. But we're good now. We're ready to go.
That's good. It's good to see. What do you guys think? I get y'all's perspective on this kind of sad news before we get rolling into the shows. What do you guys think about the Adam Cole thing?
Well, you can't really see it, but I'm actually wearing my Adam Cole shirt tonight. I wore it last Thursday to Collision, where I got to watch him wrestle maybe his last match ever. And so what? Full disclosure, so went to the show with Ryan from Salepan from Panola. We went from Big 12 Media Days over to Dynamite, and then Thursday we drove up. He met me here at my house. We drove up to Collision, and then Saturday there was a third person, Malcolm Alfaro, who I'm actually using his stage photo as my background tonight. He took that of the All In stage, and so we drove up Saturday. So Ryan took a pic. Ryan and I had different seats. On Wednesday we were sitting right beside each other. Thursday they gave me a floor seat. And then they gave him a better seat than we had the night before. And he was right there by the stage. And so he got a picture of Adam Cole and Roderick Strong celebrating the victory and didn't tag anybody or nothing. And Adam Cole tweeted that same photo out the next day. And and I was like, that may be the last, photo of him celebrating a win ever. Like that's, and hopefully not. But so, we didn't hear anything about this. Because we're driving down, and then we're sitting in the press box, and then nobody was talking about it. And all of a sudden, we see on Twitter, "Oh, Adam Cole's out," and they were talking about the pre-show, and we could kind of hear the pre-show. But then, once the show started, we could hear the commentary up in the press box. But we could see the pre-show, but they were playing the Machine Head song over and over so loud that we couldn't really hear what was going on in the pre-show. And so we could see, and we saw on Twitter, "Hey, Adam Cole's out. They've changed the match to a 4-way." So we're like, man, so we didn't even think we'd see Adam Cole. Well, then he comes out and gives just a very heartfelt speech. You see Roderick Strong, he just lost it in the ring. I mean, he's super emotional. And him and Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, Adam Cole, and then Bobby Fish, those guys have been together forever. And so, it was a big one for them. And then, in the press conference, Tony Khan, even before questions, he made a statement about Adam Cole, and he made a statement during Dustin's press conference, and then he made a later one when it was just him, and he gave a lot of a shine to Adam. And he said, that they talked about it on Friday, and they weren't sure what to do, and they finally came to that decision. And then reports I think came out yesterday. You probably saw the same thing, Brett, is that Adam was actually talking about retiring right there on the spot. And I think they talked him out of that and just said, "Hey, let's play out the process." But very sad news. I mean, we'll talk about what happened in the replacement match. But Dustin Rhodes, I mean, great to see him get a victory. But they definitely had to change plans, and everybody stepped up. But I hate to see Adam Cole's been one of my favorite wrestlers for a while, especially since his NXT days, and so I've gotten to see him live a few times now. Once in NXT and a few times now in AEW. So hopefully this isn't the end, but we'll see. And sad news all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, I think the weird thing is, like, if you watch the replay, I mean, it's not a massive bump, but man, those things always scare me when they drop those guys anywhere near the apron. Like any of those apron moves, for whatever reason, just that edge is just like, and you can see where his head kind of hits, and it was just. But again, watching it live, I don't think you wouldn't have put 2 and 2 together, had you not really noticed it. So it's an interesting, just a brutal way to go out too, or potentially go out, even if it's for a short time, just from something like that seems so innocuous. And to change somebody's career that way is rough.
The spot that we're talking about, did it happen like this last week on Thursday?
Yeah, it happened on Collision, yeah.
Okay, well, the spot that I think personally, and maybe he didn't hit it, but the match that he had with Kyle Fletcher, where Fletcher tried to do the power bomb on the apron, he barely hit the apron, and
that was the one.
Yeah. Hit. Okay, well, that wasn't the one that's on Thursday on Collision, though.
Yeah. There was a different, because it was him and Fletcher too. It was a tag match, though.
Well, I mean, when this was a one-on-one,
okay.
Like it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago that it happened. So I'm thinking maybe something happened there. You continue wrestling. We all know how concussions work. You get one, you're more susceptible to get another one. It's easier and easier every single time. So, yeah, I mean, maybe that bump kind of knocked him silly a little bit, and he just kind of tried to power through it. And then, Thursday happens, and it just, I mean, and we know this with football too. And that's where the concussions that's where we really learned more about concussions in football. But, the brain is weird, and everybody's brain is different. Like me and you could take 20 of the same bumps that Adam Cole takes, never get a concussion, and Adam Cole have 10 of them. Like, it's just weird how it happens. I hate it. I hate it for Adam Cole. I'm glad Tony gave him that time to go out there and address the crowd. I think that was the right thing to do, and not just leave people guessing and wondering what's happening. I never want to say never, because we've seen Edge come back when we didn't think Edge was going to come back. Christian had a ton of concussions before. Like, I don't want to say never, but and maybe he was just super emotional. But the way it sounded Saturday is that he's done. Like, he is, and I hate it. He never loved him in NXT, but he never really got going in AEW. He just never did. Every time he was about to, with the MJF feud, he would break his ankle. Like, there's always something, an injury that just held Adam Cole back, and I hate it because we never got the full Adam Cole experience in AEW, and I hate it. And we may never get that experience, so it just sucks. Nice name, Jeremy.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to start laughing.
I figured
Spilling out about an injury, and I'm like laughing.
You know that guy.
Bad timing to slip that in there.
That guy that always gives a hard time about wrestling. He's trying to interfere with our podcast. That Jaron guy,
No, man.
Oh,
man,
I thought you meant
during our podcast. No. He's always like, every time we make a wrestling reference, we get that look like, oh my gosh,
He just doesn't get.
The same guy that'll call a baseball player a knuckle dragger, but he's not. But he's not a wrestler. It doesn't make sense. Like, that's the perfect wrestling thing. Like, look at that knuckle dragger.
So, but yeah, I agree. I think he kind of got some bad luck, ridden with bad luck there. Even the whole deal with DMD, she tweeted out with the heartbreak, like, as rough as their whole split and stuff was, like, I'm sure she feels terrible. That those two, maybe, I wouldn't say disappointment, but like they could have been so much in AEW. I feel like between the two of them, and that, like, I don't know, Britt she kind of was up there at the very first, and then just kind of after that has been, barely on the card. Now maybe she gets to go to WWE now and get a shot. Hopefully, seemed like that they're using the women a lot better over there anyway. AEW's got like 2 or 3 people, and the rest of them are kind of just all jobbers. I feel like, but it just stinks. It just really stinks. Yeah, I kind of
got crucified for the heart too, like the broken heart thing. Like she got.
Yeah.
I mean, people online were just tearing her up for it. You know, oh, you care now. Oh, yeah, now you care.
Well,
you can't feel bad for somebody. I mean, come on.
It's like.
I mean, she was with him. You guys know. I mean, you date people you're married to. If something happens, like there may be some like hatred, whatever there, but you still had strong feelings for that person. You don't, unless it's just something really bad, you don't wish ill on them usually, at least after it's been a little bit. You know,
they're still friendly. There was like a mutual and then the KO had a good post too. Not you KO, but the Kevin Owens.
I was about to say I didn't post anything.
No,
Uncle Kevin.
Uncle Kevin. He had a post of them. I guess it was in ROH or whatever together, but it was a good post, which is a picture of them, and Adam Cole's wearing a Cole shirt.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't see that one. That's good. All right. So before we start, so much wrestling. I mean, I'll be honest though, there wasn't a lot of bad. There was some, but there was a lot of good for a majority. Now I only count 4. There was the 5th show was the ROH show. I never could find that one. Did you guys get to see any of that?
I never got to find it, and I didn't go to that one. That was the one wrestling I didn't watch.
So we won't count that one because we didn't really see it. So the 4, I'm going to start, rank them top. I mean, I think we're all going to probably agree or some semblance of agreement. It's All In, obviously, at the top for me, and then Evolution second, Great American Bash is third, and then there's Saturday Night Main Event, like way down, maybe under the table. I'm sure Kyle's going to agree with me on that. What do you think, Kyle?
I didn't watch Great American Bash, so I have no.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah. Did you not even get to go back and watch the Ethan and Ricky match?
I haven't seen nothing.
Well, if you ever get a chance, go watch that match. You'll love it.
Yeah, I probably will this weekend because there's no wrestling this weekend, so I can have a chance to catch back up. But, what?
So, there's a big UFC this weekend, and then
there's no wrestling.
But Sunday night Slammiversary, which
there's no wrestling.
The main 3 matches are like NXT matches.
I'm not watching all that. Listen, I didn't watch Great American Bash.
Appearance.
I didn't watch Great American Bash. I watched Saturday Night's Main Event. Didn't really care about it, so I'll put Saturday Night's Main Event last. Same order as you, Brett. Without even watching Great American Bash, off y'all's word, I'm putting it above Saturday Night's Main Event. That's how bad Saturday Night's Main Event was.
Well, the thing about Saturday Night Main Event, and we've talked about it in our group chats and stuff, and I'll tell people, is we can't look at it's not a PLE. It's not. It's just it's an extra SmackDown. It's like the equivalent. I mean, it's like a glorified equivalent of what Rampage used to be for AEW. I mean, it's better than that, but it's just like it's just an extra show. Like it's not. And you know, it might have been a little different had Seth not get injured, whatever. But we got like we can't hold it to the same standards as PLE because it's not a PLE.
Well, they put it like it. They try to build it like it though. Like they don't build it as a smack. They build it up like they try to put.
They put big names on it, but it's just like they don't really storyline it really. I mean, we had Goldberg on there. I mean, and then he had to go 16 minutes because of and then he complains about getting. Well, like you're on network TV, they have to cut at 9. Like they have to go at 9. So
that wasn't intentional. Yeah, it was.
Well, he did have Did y'all hear it where he said if it was Undertaker or somebody else, they wouldn't have cut it?
Yes, I mean they would have. They just might have planned differently to not have to cut it. But
that's 100% on WWE. It is not on anybody else.
Especially because you had the extra time with the Seth injury. You didn't have to make that a 16-minute match.
And they're on network television. They've been on network television for 30 years. They know there's a hard out. Like, correct. So I believe they screwed. They did it intentionally. Triple H didn't care about giving Goldberg his send-off. Not to say he did it intentionally. That's not the wrong way of putting it. But they didn't plan for it. They didn't care if it made it on air, because they've done this for 30 years. They know the hard out. So you're telling me a company like WWE fudged it up that bad where they gave Goldberg 20 seconds at the end? You saw Michael Cole when he came back freaked out.
When they had extra time because of an injury.
Yeah.
Right. So that's 100% on WWE. They fumbled it. Goldberg has a right to be upset about that, but he's not Undertaker. He's not John Cena. He's not going to get that treatment. So he needs to stop whining and be happy that he got a retirement match.
Did you see Peter Rosenberg's response to him? It's pretty good.
All right. Well, we'll start from the bottom and work our way up. That way we kind of get the undercard out of the way first. So we'll talk the Saturday night's main event first, and kind of go through there. All right. So let's see what we got. We had Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with Randy right now. I kind of thought we were going heel, and then now he's like, going with Jelly Roll. He's got a tag team match coming up at SummerSlam. We're gonna run these two guys back. I
think they're dragging the Randy Orton line because I think he's going to be. I could be wrong. It's not going to be Cody that takes the title off Cena. I really think it's going to be Randy. I think Randy gets to 15. Right, 15, isn't that right? I think he's at 14. I think Randy's the one that dethrones him. So I think they're stalling it out to get toward the end so that they can have something where Randy's still on TV, still active. You get the draw of Jelly Roll for the casual fan, right? The person that's going to watch a little bit.
By the way, though, guys, he looks in great shape.
Yeah, he lost like 100 or 200 pounds.
Yeah, I didn't realize he lost that much, and he came on the other day. And I was like, wow, he looks. Now he had baggy clothes on still, but you could tell that he had dropped some lbs.
And he said he's been at the Performance Center 3 or 4 days a week training with Undertaker, Kevin Owens, Michelle McCool, and Jacob Fatu. And so he's been getting trained and so he's working and trying to do this. And did y'all see the Jimmy Kimmel segment last night?
That's what I was about to ask.
Did y'all see how bad that table looked when it went apart? It wasn't in anything. I think it was
about as sturdy as the old announce desk they used to have.
That's how you build towards SummerSlam. I like that because now.
It is good.
That's extra people that watch Jimmy Kimmel. They're like, wait, hey, I might check this out now. I have Peacock. Let me turn this on August 2nd. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm just not. I like it. I just despise Logan Paul. I just don't like. I mean, he's good in the ring and stuff.
He's perfect. Like him and Jelly. That's going to be a perfect.
I know it is. He just annoys.
And then Drew and Randy like that. I mean, that's going to be it's going to be fun because they're going to have two really good workers. I mean, and Logan's he's shown to be a pretty good worker too. So that it's going to he's going to have 3 guys in there to carry him, and I think it's going to be an entertaining.
I just feel like it was so flip floppy. Like Randy looks like he's about to just go AWOL on somebody. Now all of a sudden he's laughing and cutting up with Jelly Roll again. I don't know. I could see Jeremy. I could see them kind of stalling it out, but to me, this is just he's not even an angry Randy anymore. He's all of a sudden back just having a good time with his old friend.
And he was still conflicted,
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's the waffle in him. He wants to be a good guy, but that voice just keeps, I mean, I think that's what they're going to play that till it finally just.
I mean, the match for me was good. I like that they used this. This was one of the good pieces of the show. I think they used it to build this next match. I mean, it advanced some kind of story, so I'm okay with that. I'm not sure where McIntyre and Orton. They just kind of Orton came out or McIntyre came out and they just kind of got into it. I can't remember, it was a few weeks ago, but now at least we have some story with this. They've done a good job with that. So I think it was a fine match for that purpose. I mean, if we're not going to get a great match, at least if we can move some stories along and it's not a wasted 3 or 4 hours, I'm okay with that. We had Jade and Naomi. I mean, I guess it really wasn't a match, but they brawled it out here after this segment, kind of to build their match the next night. So I thought that was interesting. And we'll get to it, but Naomi, man, from where she was, man, night and day difference. I actually care about her now. We're not just feeling the glow. I care.
You're proceeding with caution.
Yeah, proceed with
And
caution. Yeah,
that cackle, that diabolical cackle is rough. I mean, like in the best way, right? Like it's like this, like maniacal, like I might do something real dumb, and
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you had then we had the next match was the United States Championship match. I mean, did anybody here have Jimmy Uso winning this match? I mean, no. I mean, I'm sorry, Big Jim. I like you, but there was no chance. He didn't have enough backup yet. Which I think this is more storytelling. We'll see where they go with this. Now you got Jimmy kind of teaming up with the werewolf here, and you got, of course, a big return on Monday night. I guess you guys watch Raw. So then we had another little team up. So I don't know if that's going to be separated or what's going to happen there, but we didn't get short of Tonga yet, KO. We're still waiting on
no Tiny Tonga.
Tiny Tonga.
Either Tiny Tonga or Smaller Tonga.
They tried to. Y'all were talking last time. Oh, I think it's one L in Tala. Nope, they're calling him Tala Tonga, the most simplest name that they could have came up with.
It's like it's like when you get a new router, for your internet, it like throws an adjective and a noun. It's like, and a couple of numbers.
This will work.
Tonga 1.
I mean, this was a match where they just basically ended up beating the hound dog out of Jimmy. I mean, I don't hate the group. I just don't know where they're going with this. I'm curious to see where they go with them. I mean, I do like the fact that they have besides the name, I like having Tala Tonga in the group. He at least he gives me somebody I think can stand up to Fatu, right? I mean, Solo's not there. Obviously, he's got to have that muscle, and he's a presence. So we'll see. I'm going to give it a chance. It's something different. Again,
I think it'll be interesting to see where Tama Tonga, when he comes back, where does he go?
Yeah,
because he and the werewolf are close, but then his brother is on the, you know what I mean? So it'll be an interesting, like, do they toy with that too? Because when that time comes, do they toy with the, like, what side's he going to be on? I mean, you could go a few ways with that too.
We got War Games coming up in 2-3 months, so I don't know whether there's a lot of factions going back and forth right now, so it was interesting to see which ones end up in the cage. But I thought it was what it was. We knew it was going to be Solo cheating, using the numbers game, taking advantage, and then a bunch of brawling at the end. Got to see a little Fatu action. So, I mean, I was fine. It was fine. Like, it was just, again, it was okay. It wasn't anything great. They advanced the story, yada yada. It was fine. It wasn't. I didn't hate it. Didn't love it. It was just okay.
I think the thing that bothers me with Jimmy is the outfit. Like, like, he's got the pants, and then he's got, like, the super long jersey. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't, like, it doesn't scream wrestler. It screams guy that came to watch the wrestling show and accidentally got thrown in the ring, right? Like, I think that's the hardest part with it. Like, we know he can wrestle. We know he's got the skill, but he doesn't look like a wrestler in what he's wearing. Like, he would be better off going back to the shorter, I don't know, just something different. It just doesn't look, I don't know. Jay's got his thing down. Like, he's, you can see where he's going with it. And, like, he's got a style. And Jimmy kind of seems like he's stuck in that, like, the uncle that shows up to the court and still thinks he can ball, and I don't know.
Oh, man. All right. Next match, LA Knight, Seth Rollins. And here was the change in plans. And as Seth gets injured again, and Seth, he is involved in so many storylines. They've got to be scrambling. I don't know where they're going with this.
I think it's a work. I'm going to go on record and say I think it's a work. Hear me out. Let me explain. I think he's actually hurt. I think there is an injury. Yes, I do believe there is an injury. But think about it. Hear me out.
Okay.
Who's in the main event? Or we don't know if it's the main event. Who's wrestling Gunther at SummerSlam?
CM Punk.
CM Punk.
What did Seth Rollins say?
It will be
I will. He said, I will it till there's no breath in my lungs. CM Punk is not winning a world title, right? If he legitimately tore his knee, if he had legitimately messed up his knee as bad as it could be, right? Torn, he's out at least 8 to 9 months, right? So I don't think I just don't think. I believe he's injured. I don't believe it's as severe as they're putting on. So maybe not at SummerSlam. I think he will. I think we see Seth at SummerSlam. I think Seth is at SummerSlam and is involved in some way, whether he's there with crutches or whatever. I think he's involved in some way. I just don't truly believe that Seth is ridiculously hurt where he's going to be out of action for 9 months. I think it is and also think about how Seth Rollins cashed in his last Money in the Bank. No one saw it coming. Triple threat match, made it happen. I think there's going to be a moment where we don't think Seth is in it, and then he's going to come down and cash in and be fine. I just don't think.
Did you hear Heyman though? He said, "Well, you know that he has till June to cash it, so he's already throwing out that he's got that long. So that tells me that he's probably going to be out long term." To me,
I think I heard 4 to 5 months.
It could be great for him.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying though. I think there's a work here. I'm just saying I don't think he's legit hurt as bad as they're putting on. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it hasn't been bad enough where they gave the win away. Like you don't really want it that
win doesn't matter. That Saturday night's main event doesn't matter. LA Knight beating Seth, who cares?
But I don't think Seth was originally. I think Seth was originally supposed to win.
Maybe I'm not saying it's not a legit injury. I'm just saying it's not as bad as they're putting on. I don't think.
I think the run. I think Seth is out, but I think it's Braun Breaker that comes in and costs CM Punk on behalf of Seth Rollins.
Well, and did we notice
Gunther later for the title?
Well, do we notice? Hey, Seth doesn't have the briefcase. Heyman has it now. And so, what if Braun takes it and he cashes in while Seth's gone, and he takes it upon himself and he cashes in?
Oh, well, that would make someone angry.
You'd break up a faction way sooner than you probably expected to. But if Seth is legit out 9 months, then he comes back and he chases Braun. Then
I think Braun's in that same spot with Fatu, where it's like that, and they knew that before. I don't think they realized as much with Fatu, but like Fatu far out, and he's not going to outshine Seth, but. I think Braun's been a bigger star as of late than they maybe even expected in the faction. And so It's like, oh no, how do you keep him as second? How do you keep, and I think they've teased that with like Seth's trying to keep him in line, but he's kind of,
And we had that Braun Gunther face off there night.
I
don't know. It'll be interesting though. I kind of like it because if he is out injured, how long is it before we kind of forget about Seth Rollins, or like, hey, when's he? Like, it's kind of going to be more of a surprise when he comes out. Big pop, he comes out and does cash in. I'm with you, Jeremy. I think that while he's gone, the Oracle, which is an interesting name they're calling Paul Heyman now, got him a new name. I think he's going to, kind of drive this faction, and they're going to, all their goal is to keep CM Punk away from the title. Just like y'all said, I think they're going to be the ones that keep them away.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with it. But all right. So next up, we've got Goldberg and Gunther. And I want to say off the start, guys, like for being 58 years old, and this match was way longer than he expected, I'm sure, and way longer than I expected. I thought he didn't do that bad. He played his Goldberg where nothing affects him. He got his moves in. I mean, he pushed Gunther a little bit. And there for a while, I was like, man, are they really going to give him the win? I'm like, because, my prediction was the cash in, right? I thought Seth Rollins was going to cash in. Well, when Seth got hurt, I'm like, well, crap, that's gone to crap. Do they have to change the plans again? Because there's no way they're going to have him cash in if he's injured. And so I was like, well, no, I had that feeling Goldberg wasn't going to win for sure then. But I was impressed. I know he's had some struggles in some of his last few matches and such. But I know he's, it's been 3 years since he was in the ring last, I think, something like that. I thought he didn't look that bad, especially he was able to go that long. I think 16 minutes y'all said. I mean, I was impressed with it. I mean, I wasn't like super excited. I was more excited just to see him one more time, I think, than the actual match. To get the entrance, to get to see the spear, the jackhammer, kind of to relive.
Man, and poor Charles Robinson. Like the dude can't catch a break.
I know, man. Charles Robinson, man, he's taking more hits than the rest
for the team.
But no, I was fine with it. I am bummed that they did that to him. I think that, I know he's not Undertaker or whatever, but I mean, that guy was an unstoppable force, and they put him over like none other. I know, you just don't see that anymore. But I thought he at least deserved as much money as he made the company when he came over. They used him for big money matches. I mean, you got to see him against some guys that you never thought you would at one point. So I think it was good. I actually was fine with it. It wasn't like, well, yeah, but it was good to see Goldberg one more time as someone that grew up watching him in the ring. And that was
I was worried when he was walking down the ramp to the ring because that left knee looked like it was about to go every time he took a step. Like I was like, oh no, is he even going to be able to do this? Like I thought it was going to be a quick, 5-minute match. Just because the way he was walking, I thought for sure they were going to try to protect that. And
once he was in there,
I thought ripping the brace off was kind of a smart move. You could drag it out a little bit. And then if something did happen to his leg and he couldn't do something, you had because he beat him up. I thought they did a good job of like kind of masking a little bit of his deficiencies at his age, and so. Yeah.
I mean, 58 years old. I mean, and as they reported his injuries going in. So I thought he did well in the ring, considering some of his best work in the last several matches, honestly, that he's had.
Yeah. And I obviously didn't get to see it live. I watched it, Sunday afternoon. It was a third of the shows I watched. So by this match, I had a little wrestling fatigue and was kind of trying to refresh before Evolution. But and the one spoiler I got about Saturday Night Main Event was the length of this match. I didn't know the result, but I just knew it went 16 minutes. And I was like, and this was before I knew about the Seth injury too. And I was like, man, why did this go 16 minutes and how? So like going in knowing, hey, it's 16 minutes. I'm like, but it was about what I expected. I like the entourage Goldberg came out with. He, mix it up. Got some people that used to bring him out. Got a big cat with him. Got his son in the Colorado shirt. So it was cool to see like you said, Brett, nostalgia. And but we don't need to see Goldberg try to because he's like I thought I was gonna get the main event at PLE for a final match. I was like, please no, like this is it. Like you had a good run, but it's time to call it quits and let Gunther move on to his next thing, which we found out on Monday is going to be CM Punk. So I'm excited to see where they go and how long they keep Gunther going because he's got a chance to be a really good champion in this second run. Now he had to drop it to Jey Uso, but we'll see what they do with him the second run if they can really elevate him as a top level champion for this company.
The match was fine.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's over with. I mean, and the fact, and we talked about this, like we already talked about how the WWE's been on network television forever. They know the cutoff time. They screwed Goldberg. And I feel bad for Goldberg that he didn't get that. He still got the moment. Like, I guess that's what he still got it. I understand it wasn't live right then, but they uploaded it not too long after that, the full version on YouTube. So it's not like they tried to keep it offline. Like they put it up there as soon as they could. So, I mean, sure, he got screwed and it sucks, but then to come out a few days later and just start whining and complaining about, well, I kind of wish we would have built it up starting in January and we didn't get all this. Bro, you got a retirement match in your hometown, adopted hometown of Atlanta. You got to be in there with all your friends and family. Why are you complaining, dude? Like there's plenty. How many people in the wrestling business would kill for that? Did he get a send off like Sting got in AEW? No, but that's WWE's not AEW. They're not going to do that. So if you wanted that kind of send-off, go to AEW. But he didn't. So he gets the send-off he got. Be thankful that you got the send-off. It's ungrateful. To me, it comes off as ungrateful when you come out days later and complaining about everything. Like, if you're upset about how your speech got cut off, understandable. I get it. Be upset at them for that. But then to start whining and complaining about, well, I wish it would have been on a PLE. I wish it would have been built till January. Shut up. Just go away. Just go away. I appreciate everything Goldberg has done for the industry. I get it. That's awesome. But that was a long time ago. And your flowers have been given for that.
Well, and I think the difference too is Sting was still involved all the way up until the end, right? Yeah. Like, he was regularly on programming. Like, we saw Goldberg like a year ago once, and then we saw him a couple times leading up to the match. It wasn't like he was on there every week, and then they decided to bum him and not give him anything. And again, they didn't turn his mic off, right? So he got to give the speech to the crowd, right. And then they so I wish it had been on TV. It'd have been nice, and again, it was fun to kind of let my son see the entrance, right? Like, he was like, the spark. He was like, dude, that's the biggest set of sparklers ever, and have him walk through that. I think that was cool to see that, like, to have a guy knock on the door, hey, Bill, it's time, and like those things that you saw all the, through that big run. And yeah, I agree. I think it just looks bad. Like, I agree.
That stuff was awesome. Like that was the nostalgia that Brandon was talking about. Like, that was cool. That was neat. That was awesome. But then he just comes out afterwards and just spoils it. Like, it's just like, dude, just leave it alone. And then he says, in a couple of weeks I can say more. Well, great. So in a couple of weeks we're gonna have more drama from Goldberg. Like, if you can't say it for a couple of weeks, then don't say anything at all. Because now you're whining, and then if you come out 2 weeks later, then you're just bringing up old stuff. Like, it just doesn't look good. Just does not look good.
All right, let's move on, as we're gonna go now. All of us didn't watch the Great American Bash, so we can kind of graze over it. Brandon, you mentioned it earlier, the matches that of course Blake Monroe made her debut in a tag match with Jordynne Grace, so that was memorable for me. It was a good. I mean, her character is basically the same character, just with a new name. I mean, it's kind of inevitable that what happened Sunday was going to happen eventually. She's not a good face. But I thought that was fine. I thought one of my favorite wrestlers right now is Sol Ruca. I love her in the ring, man. She's just crazy. She has got that it factor. Like, she's kind of, I mean, she's got that gymnastics background like Stratton does, but she's also a very good athlete. Not that Stratton's not, but she's like, I think she ran track and did all this. Like, she's got some moves, and I feel like that before too long she may be moving up for that NXT title picture. And I like watching her as that Soul Snatcher is one of my favorite moves in all of wrestling right now. I love that. Of course, the Falls Count Anywhere match was great. I enjoyed that one with Ethan Page and Ricky Saints now. Not Ricky. I want to say, it makes me want to say Ricky Starks. I still want to say that, but that was a good match. Obafemi, I feel like they've used him so much. What else does he have left to do in NXT? I don't think he's got too much longer on that card.
He's probably just waiting on the draft.
Yeah.
Right. The Raw SmackDown redrafting where they move people around. That would be my guess, is they're trying to stall out for that as long as they can. And
yeah, I think he's kind of gotten that. Like, Trick Williams was like that, but he's kind of gone. He's been over doing TNA stuff a little bit, so it's kind of kept him. Because I'm surprised he hasn't moved up as well with his character is as well. But Brandon, you watched a little bit. What stuck out to you on that card?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really good show. I mean, we said third of the best of the weekend, but it was a way, like, it wasn't that far behind Evolution. I mean, it was behind Evolution, but then it was way ahead of Saturday Night Main Event, like we said. good opening match, Javon and Jasper Troy. You know, Jasper Troy's the new guy from LFG, and he's got some stuff to him because that, you know, we're talking about Obafemi. Well, who does Obafemi lose to? Or does you just have him retire the title and move up? Because I don't know if if he loses to anybody, maybe it's Jasper Troy. You know, he's got a little something to him. Sol Ruka, like you said, she's impressive. I thought she might lose this match because, you know, you're talking about her going up for the NXT Women's title. I don't know if she'll ever even go for that.
You think she's going to go?
I think main roster. She had a big weekend too. You know, they had the match Evolution. She was like, so you said she was a gymnast at the University of Oregon is what her prior background, and so you can see that in her wrestling.
And she also ran track, is what I was listening to. They said, but
too. Her and Zarya, I also thought Zarya might turn. Like, I feel like Zarya is going to turn on her soon because they keep hinting at that, but it hadn't happened yet. But yeah, she's very impressive, and Zarya is impressive too. Like, they're a good team. I just think eventually Zarya is going to turn on her and take that title from her.
The only reason I didn't think she would go up yet, Brandon, is because they've moved so many women up recently.
Yeah,
and like we talked about how stacked the NXT roster was of women, and they have moved a ton of those up. And so, I mean, I don't want her to get lost in the shuffle. I think she's a special talent, but give her time to cook a little bit more in NXT. I mean, she can still pop in and out of on Raw because, I mean, you've got Julia, you've got Stephanie Vicaire, you've got Roxanne Perez. I mean, you've got a lot of, and you know, I don't know how long Jordan Grace will stay down. I mean, she's already been a star forever in TNA. Of course, they may feud this out with Monroe there for a little bit too, but
I don't know if Monroe will be down there very long either.
So you've got so many. There's so many women right now. So here's your chance. Like, they've got the titles. They've got 4 title belts. So they've got to play smart with them. But if they could build, I know we talked about the NXT tag titles, the women's thing. They have dropped those. If they could somehow get some good teams and be able to use some of these women to have some good matches, like we saw the women's tag title match. The problem is they usually just throw 8 women out there, pair them up together, and there's no tag team really. So I'm interested to see what they do. They're kind of been doing that. You've got Charlotte and you've got Alexa Bliss. Yes, Alexa Bliss together. That's an interesting team. So they're kind of teaming some women up. I like it because at least it gives some more reasons to go for like the belts. I want those to matter. I know Kyle's going to agree with me there. You know, all these belts and then none of them matter. They've got enough women to do it now with a good tag division if they can pair the right ones together.
Well, and I think, you know, you were talking about Trick being down and staying down, and I think Carmelo Hayes is the reason that Trick hasn't moved up, because they moved Carmelo up and then he's kind of just sat there. Like, I thought the Miz pairing might be helpful for a little bit. I thought that was going to go somewhere, and then it's kind of fizzled. You know what I mean? Just because the Miz is so obnoxious, you know, and like that kind of tension of that. I don't know. I feel like Carmelo got pushed a little early, or they didn't have a good plan for him. And I wonder if that's part of the Trick Williams thing too, is there's not a great space for that. And so he's probably better off doing the TNA and coming back and, you know, kind of doing some of those things versus pulling him up and then, you know, not knowing what to do with him.
Yeah, Jeremy, you didn't. Kyle listened to this. I don't know if Brett did, but I sent it to them. But so I got to interview Big E last week, and in the clip he talked about how much he likes Carmelo and was like clowning the Miz. It's like he's like they kind of ruined him by pairing him up with the Miz.
Yeah,
you remember that? You hear that, Kyle?
Yeah, I remember that. That was
Texans like Miz catching strays
for no reason. Wasn't even talking about Miz. He's talking about Melo. And he's like, "Hey, take him away from Miz, he'd be a star."
Is that a Chad Gable shirt?
It is. Shoes,
awesome.
Shoes, please.
You mean
Gracias.
He's not. He can no longer be called El Grande Americano. He's now El Medium Americano because Ludwig Kaiser is much larger.
That's who it was all along.
Yeah, had no clue, and somehow El Grande got his neck tattoo removed real quick. Yeah. So
and his neck lengthened.
Right? Yeah.
That's a different shirt.
Well, it's the tattoo going away. You know,
it stretched him out.
You know, the tattoo was compressing it, and then it stretched.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. He got put in the stretch thing that they did in Princess Bride, you know.
Oh man, yeah. There's lots of going on in NXT, and it'll be exciting to kind of see. I try to keep up with it. You know, that's another one just to add to the plate. But I try to keep up with it enough just to know what's going on. Just because I know there's so much good wrestling and good storytelling down there right now. So
yeah, and I watched last night, or Tuesday night show was pretty good. And then they're coming to Houston next week, and it's gonna be Blake Monroe's singles debut. Undertaker is confronting Trick Williams.
Oh,
and a triple threat: Obafemi, Josh Briggs, and Inamura for the title. But the cheapest ticket right now is like $85. It's like, yeah. So, and then, you know, and Monday in Houston, you get Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns already confirmed for Monday in Houston. So, but one more thing.
Yeah, that cheap ticket is $236. I looked.
Yeah.
I think it was like the cheapest ticket in the 400s is like 180 or 200. I was like,
they priced themselves out of my price range.
But yeah, one more thing on this NXT, I just wanted to talk about the Ricky and Ethan match, because I haven't went and ranked every match from that. I mean, because I saw 30 hours of wrestling in 5 days or something so I've seen, but I would have to say it was close to a top 5, top 7 match of the weekend, maybe even higher. I mean, that I think I maybe texted y'all, like, that's what I know in a street fight, but that's like what I want a street fight to be. It was a false count anywhere, but I mean, it ended outside the ring. They went backstage. We had Jasper Troy got confronted there in the back. He took out Ricky in the back, they ran into somebody and they got involved. There was just so much going on, and that's what I want a street fight, a no holds barred match to be. They did go in the ring some, but not a whole lot, and they used all different parts. And then the finish, he did the Ego's Edge off the stage through the tables and then got the pin. I mean, just a great match, just very brutal. And because they have a long rivalry, from AEW, and now since they both been in NXT, they've been going at it the whole time, mainly for the North American title. And this was a really good blow off to this rivalry. That's the type of match you should have for that. I guess the only thing maybe missing was that would have been a match where you could have incorporated some blood, but it didn't really need it though. I'm not complaining about that, because for me there was no complaints in this match. I mean, it's easily a top 10 match of the week. I just have to. I hadn't ranked all the matches, but I mean, there wasn't many I saw. I can think of 2 off the top of my head I thought were better, but other than that, it's up there. It was one of the ones I enjoyed the most of the weekend, and probably one of the ones I enjoyed most because I watched this Sunday. So definitely one of the ones I enjoyed most on Sunday.
All right. Anybody got any final thoughts on before we move on to Evolution? Well,
just real quick. So you were talking about the women's NXT title. Is JC Jane has it right now. Oh, we'll see. Well, actually, that happened on Evolution, so we'll talk about there. But she may not have it for long. It may not even be in the company after this Sunday. So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Title versus title match.
No, we still got to talk about that match. I remember the tag match with NXT, but the title match happened on Evolution. So
yeah. All right. So we opened the card with our triple threat: Bayley, Becky, and Lyra. I mean, they're all good in the ring. I don't know. I'm starting to get a little tired of them. I feel like it's maybe it hasn't been this long, but I feel like they've been fighting for 6 months between the 3 of them. But I thought it was fine. Bayley they've turned her into basically a squash person now, or she just takes pins like crazy. So I really didn't have any I knew she wasn't going to get the win. But I guess we're going to run this back again now. Then we go back the next night, or I guess, it was the next night, and they had a 2 out of 3 falls match, which if I didn't get enough of them fighting, then I get another 2 out of 3 falls match again. And then so now we're going to get, for it's the 3rd time, Lyra and Becky in the last 2 or 3 months. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. The belt. I think they've prestigious. They're using her to make the belt important. But I don't know. I'm getting a little tired of it. The matches in the ring are good. The storyline for me is kind of worn out, I guess.
Well, I think it was who was it? Somebody said somebody cooked Lyra's mic skills versus Bayley and and Becky. Just I think they're like, I don't believe anything she says, but I think her ring work is really strong. I think she's good. Yeah, I mean, I think they just need to let her run with the title and get Becky out of the way. I thought, I know this will be later on, but I don't know if you noticed, wasn't it Monday night that she came out in the Hulk Hogan colors, right? Like, because they've been calling her Becky Hogan.
Did you hear the Twitter cut where someone played?
The Real American Hero.
Becky Hogan.
It was so good. Yeah, I mean, I think they're using Becky to build the title, but I think Lyra's over. I mean, it's the dumbest thing to yell that woo thing, and yet the crowd does it every single time, right? I mean,
my wife was even doing it the other night.
Oh my gosh, I'm like, but I think she's got great skill. I think she's got, I mean, she's smaller, but she doesn't really look like. I don't think she fights smaller, if that makes sense. Like some of them, you look at it and you're like, there's no way she's not believable. But I think she's got enough skill and stuff to pull it off, and I think she's a good. I think they needed somebody to give her, a little bit of a run maybe, but yeah, I think hopefully after this, her and Becky are done and we can move on. And there's just too many other girls that can do something that you can run with. That you don't have to keep doing the same Lyra, Bailey, Becky over and over and over.
Yeah, Lyra's very entertaining in the ring, and hopefully this SummerSlam's the blow off. The thing is just because I think they thought it was so easy because Lyra and Becky had that history. From Ireland, and then that was her childhood hero, and then they had the little run in NXT, for the NXT title, and so they've just been able to carry that. And then Bailey got incorporated because she was the one that got taken out before Mania. But yeah, hopefully this is done soon. But Lyra though, she just gets better and better in the ring every time I see her. She's very entertaining, and then we know what Becky and Bailey can do. So I thought the triple threat was really good, and like you said, the 2 out of 3 falls on Raw, I thought that was really good too. So, and I think at SummerSlam, Becky and Lyra put on a good match. I wonder what they'll do. You said basically you said a squash match person right now. I wonder what's next for Bailey.
She needs a new character or something. Like she needs something fresh. Maybe she gets mad finally and turns heel again or something.
I mean, they did that, and I mean. I don't know if she's totally a face right now, so she's kind of in that gray area. So
maybe she goes and gets some a group together. And
I mean, she did that too. That's it.
She needs something. I mean, she hasn't lately. Yeah, they had that, but I don't know. I never really thought that fit. I mean, it was fine, but it was weird. But I don't know. She needs something. I like Bailey, but I just don't know what she needs. She needs something. Kyle. Help us.
I'm gonna be the contrarian here. I'm enjoying this. I think what they're doing is fantastic. I think Becky is doing her job. Becky is putting Lyra over. This is storyline. This is build. We've seen so much character development from Lyra over these past few months. Think back to her and Becky on NXT. Lyra, we didn't know anything about Lyra, and she was not great on the mic. She didn't look comfortable. Look at her now. She's out there calling out people and getting better. Like, this is story. This is good. I can sink my teeth into this. Are they wrestling a lot? Sure. But the matches are fantastic. That triple threat match between Becky, Bailey, and Lyra to open Evolution, it set the tone for the night that said these women are here it's the last show of a busy weekend. And they kicked off that show with urgency and put on a banger to open Evolution and say, this is what we're doing tonight. And you have two of the best, Bailey and Becky, 2 of the best in the ring. Lyra is coming on. She is quickly becoming very, very good. To your point, yes, it is. They have wrestled a lot. It is time for this to be done. SummerSlam's the perfect time. Lyra is ready. Now is the time. So yes, they'll wrestle again at SummerSlam. It'll be a great match again, and Becky's going to put Lyra over. That's that. I think
she's going to cry the next week, and she's going to want a rematch.
Okay, but then Lyra wins again. Then we're moving on.
I want to see how they're going to. I'm interested to see how they're going to separate them. Right? If Lyra gets the win, how they separate. I mean, because Becky's
maybe that's where Bailey comes in, and then Bailey and Becky have a thing. I don't know, but I'm enjoying seeing it. And then I did not mind another 2 out of 3 falls match between Lyra and Bailey the next night. I was okay. Let's run it back. Let's do it again. Like I'm enjoying it. And usually I'm the one that's on the other side.
I know.
I'm enjoying it.
If it just there's I feel like we're every week it's one of the two of the three of them.
Though. That's the story.
I feel like it's been going too long.
You're watching too much AEW where they don't have story. This is story, Brett.
I don't understand why they're fighting each other. I mean, what
do you mean?
I mean, it just doesn't make that.
They've been fighting since NXT.
And then
for a title.
And then Becky took out Bailey. Bailey and Lyra were tag partners, and
I thought they killed that too soon. I thought they should have let because
they did. They did jump into it too soon. I agree.
They'd have built up and they were like a tag team, and they were together for 2 or 3 months. Let that build a little bit, then let them go at it.
Becky turned the next week, and that was way too quick. I agree.
That's why I think the story hasn't been, because I think they didn't let it sit, because it was like, hey, they're together up there, all of a sudden not together, and then they've been fighting ever since. If they'd have just been tag team, win for a while, and then after 3 or 4 months, maybe something happens here. There's some things that happen with the matches. They almost lose, then they finally lose, and then there's a turn.
But Lyra doesn't get her moment at SummerSlam if you do that.
Yeah, I know.
It's about the moment.
I know, but you could have built it all the way to Mania, all the way back around if you really played it right.
That's long. Now you're talking about.
No, listen. But 3 or 4 months by the time you get to SummerSlam, they may still be, and at the turn at SummerSlam, or Bailey's out this whole time. Maybe she doesn't come back immediately, and then you throw her into it after they've been feuding for a while. It was like you didn't let them feud, and then Bailey was back in the middle of it, and then it was like all 3 of them together. That's why I thought they rushed it. They could have played this a lot longer out, and they've rushed it. Now there's match back to back. I think the story's okay. I'm just kind of tired of it. The matches are great. I agree. The matches have been good because they're all good in the ring. It's just I'm tired of the same people wrestling. When you've got people on the roster now that are really good, that could be getting a shot at Lyra. Like you got Vic here, you've got Perez is still there. You've got
Vicair's not going after Lyra. Like that, Vicair's bigger than that title. Like it'll get there. There's plenty. All those talents you're talking, Julia, all those people. Like it's there. You're talking about rushing. Why rush it? Let it play. We're good.
I know, but I don't want to see them be like Mello, man. Just sit there and
Mello's off TV. We don't know where Mello's MIA. At least Lyra's on TV. Julia's on TV.
Well, Julia has a title. She's got the U.S. title now. So
that's what I'm saying. Mello lost at sea. Put him on a milk carton.
I think Bailey. If it were me, I think Bailey needs. I don't know if it's a character change, but I think you got to get rid of the rose plant. Like that's a terrible finisher. It's not believable.
Model.
Yeah, because that was more of the damage control. I'm not really that. I think I don't think she'd be bad in the faction, but I never really believed damage control to be that dangerous. I mean, you had 100-pound Dakota Kai, you had Kairi Sane at 87 pounds, right? I mean, Io Sky is a star, but she doesn't scream like bad guy, right? Asuka's the closest to it, and even Asuka is like a heel, is really a baby face in disguise. If you're going to go that route, I think you could pull some people in that are on that other edge of it. If you wanted to go Bailey as the bad guy, and you could bring in some of those you could bring Azaria or I don't know, something, but I think you could do that if you had the right characters in there. But Bailey needs something different. I think she's a phenomenal wrestler, and she's got the skills. I just think that, I don't know. She needs something.
I personally miss Hugger Bailey. Honestly, I think I saw where she would never go back to that, but they did the NXT. They had, I don't think they didn't use that on the main roster long enough for me. You could have really built her up and made her a really bad heel. I think they kind of rushed that, but I don't know. I'm with you, Jeremy. I think there's something. I just don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm hoping that they can figure it out.
I have no clue what's next for Bailey, but here's the thing. You just talked about all the younger women talent on there. As bad as this sounds, I'm not really worried about what's next for Bailey. Like that, if they have something for her, great. I would love to see her on television. But if they don't have anything for her, there are plenty of women that are talented enough to be on TV. So I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah. And speaking of talent, the next match, you have Jordan Grace, which I love. She's one of those things, girls that I saw her early in her career. When, no offense, she was a little bit bigger of a wrestler. She now is just cut, jacked, Like she is
Muscle. When you say muscle mommy,
like she was almost like a Nia Jax type figure at one point, and she is. I enjoy her in the ring. She is so strong. I would not want to meet her in the dark alley because she'd probably pick me up and throw me across the room. But I'm excited for the next feud because JC Jane, I think, to me, she is a title holder, like a placeholder. She's kind of like I don't know if she'll be that on main roster. I like her little group. They've got some things going with the storylines with them. But I think it's going to be Blake Monroe's eventually. But I'm excited for this Jordan Grace Blake Monroe feud. Like I'm here for it. Like I know this was another one that was kind of rushed but you couldn't. Blake Monroe is not a baby face. I just don't think her character as a heel is too good, and I didn't see it coming this early. And she nonchalantly hits her with a belt, accidentally, and cost the match there for Jordan Grace. I like the match though. Another good solid match. It had some story in it. Now we've got some more interesting. Okay, where's JC Jane go? Of course, Brandon talked about it. She's got that title versus title match coming up, so we'll see where they go with that. And then now you've got Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe going for a feud. So I'm here for both of those.
Poor Michael Cole, and he kept calling him Fatal Attraction instead of Fatal Influence, and he kind of was merging the Toxic Attraction and the Fatal Influence. And I almost like Fatal Attraction better, but it's a movie, so you can't really go there. But I thought it was a good match, and I thought that the heel turn and the busted lip, and Jordan Grace looking across the ring apron and going like you're dead, I thought that was, and then Monroe's like, what, me? Oh, I thought it was well played. Like I don't know how the belt hit you in the back. It's so weird, Like I thought it was great as far as just the play into that feud, and and again I thought it was quick too. I was expecting I thought she would probably turn heel on the main roster. And they'd maybe babyface her up and then make it a ploy that she was, just trying to work her way into the big show, and then she was going to be a heel in Rec Shop, but
yeah, I was expecting the heel turn that night, and it happened. It was different. It happened different than I expected, but like because you could even see on NXT that I think it was on NXT on Great American Bash when they were backstage, and she's like, I need you to come, ringside with me. And just the way she said it and the way she the look Blake Monroe had on her face, like, oh, that heel turn's coming. And because also like when you watch NXT every week and when she's giving promos and stuff, she's just like Brett said, she's a natural heel, and it's just that it was something that needed to happen. You bring her in as a babyface real quick just because she's going to get cheered those first couple times because of who she is. But her character is just the perfect heel, and I'm excited to see what they do with her from here. She's got her first singles match next Tuesday against Ren Sinclair. I think is the perfect opponent for her for that first match because Ren's really good in the ring and is also like the kind of super sweet, naive baby face. So that's going to be a good first match as singles match for Blake Monroe as a heel, and then we'll see where her feud with Jordan Grace goes. And like you said, with JC Jane, she's either going to have 2 belts or no belts after Sunday. So they had Masha Slamovich on last night. Slamovich pinned her and held the title. So that normally means that person normally loses at the pay-per-view. So we'll see.
I haven't been, I don't watch NXT. I just depend on y'all for updates. So I had no clue about this storyline going into the match. All I saw was the little package before the match. And like Brandon said, just from watching that package, I was like, oh, Mariah May's turning heel. Like, oh, we got a turn tonight. Like, it's just so, but maybe that's because also I know her from the last time I saw her was Mariah May. She was a heel. So that's what I know her as. Yes, I know she got cheered as Blake Monroe when she came into NXT, but I haven't been watching, so I haven't seen anything else. But yeah, once they said that, I was, oh yeah, she's turning. And then just her demeanor, like y'all said, she's a natural heel. Her demeanor by the ring, it's just, she just looks like she's up to no good. Just all the time. She just looks like she's up to no good. So I think she's going to do fine. I think this feud with her and Jordan Grace will be the last feud that Jordan Grace has at NXT before they call her up. So I mean, I think it's great. Gets Blake Monroe some action. Gets Jordan Grace an outer as she goes up to the main roster. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll be good. As far as JC Jane, you said it. She's a placeholder. I think. What'd you call her? Slamovich? Masha? She'll take it. She'll win it. I don't know who she is, but she'll win it.
Did y'all notice that there may be a crack in the group there from the other night when I think it was JC Jane was talking and how disappointed she was in her partners or whatever. Which one is it? One of the girls was, I can't remember which one, but one of them kind of gave her a look like, like, what are you talking like? So I feel like that maybe something happens and we get a after she loses the title. I think I'm with KO. Then we get an inner group split and we get some feuds between them.
They've been teasing that for a while too, especially between Fallon and JC. But then this time now Jasmine was the one.
Is it Jasmine? Okay, I don't remember.
But Fallon and JC have kind of had a little kind of internal struggle for 3 months now. So they've kind of been trying to one up each other. So they've already been teasing that part. So where Jasmine's just kind of always been on JC's side. So we'll see how they play with that. Yeah, I'll probably be the only one here watching Sunday Slammiversary, but I'm gonna be watching it because it's on my TV, so I'm gonna turn it on and I'm excited about the Trick, Joe Hendry and Mike Santana match too. That's gonna be fun. So so I'm excited. There's enough on there that I'll turn it on. I won't be locked in like I would be for normal pay-per-view, but I'll have it on on the second screen and keep up with what, especially Jeremy kind of tossed it out there earlier. So we may get to see AJ Styles back in TNA on Sunday. So that's worth the watch right there.
Yeah, well, I think that the cool thing going back to Blake Monroe. She's like a WWE merch girl. It's a pretty crazy story to want to be in there and to go from what she was to where she is kind of a cool story. And so they can kind of play that disgruntled, right? You had your shot at me, you didn't want me. Now I'm coming to, I think they can get to that. There's just so many ways they can go with that character besides just what she did in AEW, because I think they're going to try to toe that line some, but I think they want to differentiate it too, so they can, I think they want the character close, but I don't know if you want to go an exact copy for as much heat as you've been getting about going card for card, and event for event, maybe to give you a chance to, oh no, we're not copying what they do, we're going to do something different. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see just what goes there. And then, I think AJ shows up to Slammiversary, and that place will go nuts when he does. And
all right, next up is the Fatal 4 tag team match for the NXT Women's Championships, and this gives me hope for women's tag team wrestling. I enjoyed this match thoroughly. It was great. Of course, my favorite spot was the double soul snatcher move. That was pretty sick. I'm excited there. They did tease a little bit of the like Brandon said, you had Soul and Zarya kind of get cross tangled, but I really like what they're doing with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair right now. It's almost like it's not the yes no thing with Kane and Daniel Bryan, but it's kind of similar where they kind of they didn't like each other and they're together, and they're just kind of working together as convenience, and there's something building there. And I don't know, I like Charlotte's look in this match. She's
happy.
Yes, that's what she didn't come out all but I don't know if it's the hair, just the whole outfit. I really liked the look that she's got right now. So I feel like that maybe they chase after these tag titles and they go on a run. I'm hoping for it, because there's at least some story there with the whole, just kind of being they see that it's a crowded women's division. They're trying to go after some gold. There's some story there. I really like that. And I like the way you've got Roxanne and Raquel. Who knows, at some point, maybe Liv comes back when they have a match and she costs them the match, and it helps Charlotte and then winning that. There's some more story there because we know Liv is coming back at some point. She's even though there's a lot of gold, she's not going to be happy that Roxanne is kind of they're already y'all watched that they had Dom down with their match the other night, and yeah, and that was a nice Finn kind of. Oh, just go help him. We know what Finn's doing there. We're trying to history repeating himself again here.
Well, they keep showing the demon. I don't know if you've noticed, but they've got the demon lunchbox. Every time he does he's like, "Oh yeah, we're doing it for Liv," and then he kind of looks up and smiles, and that lunchbox is sitting right there out of that case. And I thought they played it well with Charlotte saving Alexa. Because the expectation would be the other way around, right? That Alexa would save Charlotte from something. So I thought it gave Charlotte a chance to be a face in an easy way, right? And then they have that funny moment where, Alexa's laying there and she's like, you saved me. It was like this, I don't know, it was just one of those, for Charlotte the person, right? For Ashley, I liked it for her because I think she's gotten so much hate. And she is an easy heel and she's easy to boo. But I also, I don't think she's ever really been into that as much as she pretended to be. And so I think for her to get this, I think has been good too for her, probably to bring some of that enjoyment back and not just make it a job, where it's like, oh, people do care. Or, at least,
Well, she's gotten a lot of hate for the this is the third divorce. And so there's been a lot of online, trolling going on with that. So yeah, I agree. I think it's good for her. You can just see it. Kyle said it. She looks what, Kyle?
Happy.
Yeah, and you can tell, and I think the happier she is, the better work you're going to get from her in the ring. So I'm excited. Kyle, what'd you think about this tag match?
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And to the point about Charlotte, I've been a huge Charlotte hater. I cannot stand Charlotte. I've told y'all that many a time. But my reasoning for that has been because every time she comes back, she has a Charlotte in the Bank contract and she's immediately thrust into the championship title picture. That's not right. And so I think, to me anyway, and I think it wears on a lot of other people, that she's just constantly she can't have a story without a title being involved. This is a story without a title involved, and it's awesome. And she's having fun. You can just see it. Like you said, she looked different. What looked different is she's actually having fun. There's no pressure of going after a title or having to be somebody else. I think, like Jeremy said, I think we're seeing Ashley, not Charlotte. I think we're seeing the real Ashley in the ring and just having a good time. And it was an excellent thing that they did of Charlotte saving Alexa and kind of, taking that bullet for it. Shows she's kind of turning over a new leaf, which will make Charlotte easy to cheer at that point. Nobody wanted to cheer Charlotte when she came back after the divorce or after the knee injury, and came back and was telling an emotional story, and people were booing her out of the building. She was trying to be heartfelt and she was getting booed out of the building. And so nobody could stand her. But now, like I text y'all, I think she's likable. I think I'm kind of liking her now with pairing her with Alexa. So I think it was an excellent idea. And why not give them the tag titles? It's not the world championship. Give her the tag titles, because honestly, those titles are worthless anyway. Doesn't matter who holds them. But give it to Charlotte and Alexa, and let's see what they can do with it. I'm interested to see what they can do. I really like the pairing. Didn't think I would at first. I thought I was going to hate it. I love it. I think it's awesome. And Sol Ruka, to your point, Brett, phenomenal. The double soul snatcher was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. And she is phenomenal in the ring. Did she
snatch your soul, Kyle?
She did. And I think I don't want to see her and Zarya break up, only because there's a lack of women's tag team wrestling on the main roster. So I don't want to see them break up, because that could be a good match for, maybe Alexa and Charlotte. If they win the titles, maybe you see Sol Ruka and Zarya go against them down the road. So I would like to see them stay together. But overall, the match was excellent, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I really liked it too. And yeah, you like to see them together, but when Charlotte saved Alexa, what also did there was Zarya speared Sol Ruka to further hint at, and I think Zarya is going to be the one to take the title off of Sol. So I think it's probably happening sooner than. But I get what you're saying. We need, but like Brett said, we got a lot of women. We just got to find the right pairings. But I mean, I expected Charlotte and Alexa to win this match. I did, and so I was surprised with the result. I didn't. So they kept it on Raquel and Roxanne.
They gotta wait till Liv gets back to mess that up.
I think you're right.
And so, I'm glad they didn't, because then that would have went against everything I just said, giving Charlotte an immediate title again. Right. So I'm glad they didn't give it to her.
But I just you're probably the same where we just expected it because we're used to it. But they but like you said, Brett, keep it till Liv gets back. And then one more thing about the Judgment Day thing. Did y'all notice Dom when he says about I got adrenaline in my soul? I thought I popped for that. I just thought it was funny because he was talking about like his injury and about going out there. He goes, I have adrenaline in my soul.
And then AJ over on the side on his knees praying.
That was funny.
I mean, like AJ's, what is that, like 3 weeks in a row? There's like an AJ Styles meme, like him peeking around the corner 2 weeks ago and then doing the, and I mean, like it's great. It's like they're not in the ring. And yet you feel like any moment those two could be fighting in the ring, right? Like it's a way to keep them both in the story without having to actually not waste, but you don't have to put them in the ring for 10 minutes together because it's Dom ducking and running. And eventually that card's going to come due, and AJ is going to, beat on him, so, I mean, you've got that tease in there without having to put them in the ring together either, and so.
Well, next match we had Stratisfaction gets the win over Tiffany Stratton over Satisfaction. Sorry about that. I don't know. I thought Trish did fine in the ring. Consider it was one of. I mean, yes, Colin, though you're going to say she didn't need to be there.
Match on the card. Weakest match on the card. I'm not going to say she didn't deserve to be there. No. I'm just saying, and that's not to say it was a bad match. I think it was a fine match for what it was. But it was the weakest match on the card. Yeah,
no, I agree. But I thought Trish and just putting her in a box, like for being 48 years old, doing what she's doing out there. I mean, I thought it was pretty impressive. I thought it was a cool match just for nostalgia purposes. You've got the up and comer. You've got, of course, they're both blonde. They're both, beautiful women. You've got them fighting each other. You've got one of the last generation and one of the now generation going at it. I mean, it was what it was, but I thought it was a good match. It wasn't like Goldberg and Gunther. I mean, I thought it was a good match in the ring. We obviously knew the outcome. I mean, we're not going to put the belt off, take the belt off Stratton right now. So, but I thought it was a good match. I mean, it was better than what I expected going in. I mean, I thought I had expectations. Okay, it's just going to be fine, but I thought Trish looked pretty good in the ring, considering being in my 40s myself, I couldn't have gone out and done some of the stuff that she did. So, all props to her.
I think she's more athletic than all of us.
The characters. I think Tiffany and Trish are so similar in character. I mean, I don't know. Like Tiffany needed to be more of a heel leading up to that or something. It just felt too much like two buddies in the ring, and I don't know. I didn't care about the match, right?
You even got the same initial. That's why I was getting them mixed up here. We got TSTS. I mean,
right. You got two. They both have. I mean, they're not the same skill set, but you know what I mean. I don't know. I didn't feel like there was anything going into the match where it was any kind of tension or any kind of. Not that you want them to hate each other, but at least a little snide comment from Tiffy about, I don't know. It just felt too much like two buddies in the ring. Let's kind of giving it the old. I don't know. I just didn't. It was okay. It was, I mean, the skill set was fine and all that. I just didn't have any buy-in to it.
Yeah. That's kind of I just didn't care. I mean, I understand why it was on there, and it was cool. It's a cool moment for Tiffy to, get to wrestle in the ring with, probably one of her idols growing up, and on such a big time pay-per-view for the women, the second Evolution show. I get the moment. I just didn't care. I just really didn't care about it. But it wasn't a bad match. Like, I just didn't care.
Yeah, I didn't have much to say about this match. I mean, it's just I think we're all in agreement here. It's just it was there was the low light of the card but it was a great card. It's just I think we kind of discussed it. Maybe I think we said that Tiffany's giving off some heel vibes, and like so we'll like we're like is she a heel now again? Or like she's always been kind of a heel, but she had to be a face in some of these feuds she was in. But for this one, she needed to be more. So just I guess I don't know. Like, and she'll definitely be the heel against Jade. So, but yeah. And now let's get to Jade.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Like, I'm with y'all on this, but I think in the past this card would have had to be loaded with a lot of nostalgia. You know, an older generational talent, a lot more of these kind of matches. But it just shows where everything's going. They have so much talent for an all-women card. They didn't have to throw back a lot of nostalgia match. I mean, obviously you had Nikki Bella in it, in the Gauntlet little battle royal match. It wasn't Gauntlet. That was the other one. But you know, there wasn't a lot of those. They were able to provide a majority card of current and future talent, which shows just how much talent in the ring there is. We've talked about it, but in the past they would have had to have half this card as people they want to bring back for nostalgia pops. So props to them. And so if that's the weakest match we got out of an all women's card, I mean, I take it. It was solid. It wasn't anything to write home about, but it was solid. Man, Jade and Naomi. Man, this was a brutal match, but I don't know, man. Jade is another one of those that $1 million to the ring. Kyle's gonna have the same opinion here. I'm feeling like looks like $1 million, gets to the ring, and then now this was an okay match. Like to have I think this is her kind of match that she can excel in because there's not a lot of wrestling. It's more of a let's just beat each other up, use weapons, use extra items, this kind of stuff. I think that's the problem, is that you can't have every match Jade's in a no rules match. So eventually she's going to have to learn to wrestle. And I just feel really bad for her because this is one of the ones that they shouldn't have rushed. They've got all these wrestlers in NXT that are taking their time and, they're building up, and they just threw her to the wolves. And I don't know what they're going to do to fix this, but I hope for her sake they figure something out, because I think
AEW, like running her in so many squash matches, almost made it impossible for them not to bring her into the main roster, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like she kind of had that Goldberg effect in a way over there, where it was like she walked out and was like, she's not losing, you know what I mean? And so I think that may have been the rush. I thought she looked better in this match. I thought it was, like you said, she looked more comfortable overall. I mean, there was a few weird spots. I thought the trash can was pretty funny, where it like fell off Naomi and she had to get back up and put it back on. And, it was like, oh, that didn't work. But, I thought Naomi did a good job of carrying her. And I feel like like we said earlier, I feel like I care about Naomi's character more than I ever have, and I thought it was pretty funny with her and McIntyre, when McIntyre threw out the Twitter, deal about, if you want to get time in this company, you have to make sure your last name is Fatu. And she replies, that's why I changed my name or whatever, and I thought that was pretty clever. And, I think she's been smart with social media, of playing the heel up there and kind of doing some of that character work behind the scenes too. I think that makes it, more than just like I see her on Monday or Friday and I might not see her again for a week. Like she throws enough out there online that she stays in the front now versus like an afterthought.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. You were talking earlier about, you said Tiffy is gonna have to play the heel against Jade. I hope Jade goes heel. Jade is not a babyface. Jade is not a babyface character. Similar to how Charlotte used to be. There's nothing likable about Jade. Like there's nothing to get behind her. Like I didn't feel sympathetic when she got pushed onto the car. Like I didn't, there's no.
Oh,
all right. Brandon Phillips, don't come after me. I'm just saying. Like I didn't care.
It's too late.
But like, yes, she looked better in this match. But also remember, there was a special guest referee in there, Bianca, who also helped carry this match a lot. I'm sure. Remember that Jade was trying to set up the table outside, had a little problem, and they're just kind of sitting in the ring waiting, and then the trash can spot. So like, yes, she should have stayed on NXT longer and gotten actual work on the roster and gotten better at wrestling. She's not a wrestler. She, again, looks like $1 million, looks fantastic. She's not good in the ring, and there's nothing. It's not believable. Like she looks great, but she's just not believable, and she's not good in the ring. So, I mean, this match was not about Jade. It was about Naomi and everything that happened later on as well. But I think Jade winning this match was the right decision, because if Naomi wins, then what happens later isn't as impactful. So it was the right decision here. I'm not a fan of Jade, man. Just not a fan.
Yeah, I like Brett said, I like that this match was like a no holds barred, whatever, like Street Fighter, whatever, because they were able to do some things to kind of get out of more that to hide some of Jay's deficiencies, and but I was surprised that like we still didn't get no direction from Bianca. Like she counted right down the middle, because Jay did that Jada through the table, and I was like, is she going to complete the count? Like I still think we're gonna get something with Bianca and Jade eventually, but in this match she's stuck with it and she hasn't. But I still think Bianca needs to turn, but like you said, you want Jade to turn, so it's going to be kind of because they're going to face eventually. But I want to see a heel Bianca before I'd want to. But like you said, I do agree with you that Jade would also make a better heel, because she came into AEW as a heel, and so she would be, but they just hadn't been able to do that with her in WWE yet, and they will eventually get there. But Naomi has crushed it with her heel character, though. I've never been a big Naomi fan. This is the best I've liked her in her career. It's funny it took her a heel to become it, but I didn't like the glow stuff. It wasn't believable to me. It was just like I don't like this, and this character I've been able to get behind, and she's doing it really well. Like Jeremy said, not only on TV, but her social media posts make you laugh. She'll go after you sometime, and then she'll make a joke about Big Jim, and she throws no punches. So this is and we'll get more on Naomi later, like you said, and but I like the brutality of this match, because you don't always get that on the women's side. And I like, and this feud needed that type of match, because I mean it started with someone going through a freaking car windshield, so you need to have some weapons and stuff to keep it going. So
when Naomi said it best on Monday night too, when she said, "Oh, y'all wasn't feeling the glow, but you feeling it now, huh?" Like that. Yeah, nobody was feeling the glow like that, but this character, like she's crushing it. She's absolutely crushing it.
Next up, we had the Battle Royal. We had Bakir wins. I like that. I'm glad they're doing something with her. Jeremy, you got a thought?
No, I'm just the Vaquera. Like I think she's the Rocket, right? Like I think she's the next big. I mean, she already was, but I think if I'm WWE, I keep her in the red or in all black. I stay away from the blue. I want her to look a little bit more heel-like, right? Like I want her to look, kind of that edgy. But man, she's good. She plays the crowd well without overdoing it, right? Like she's not, just that subtle, like, does that and like the whole place goes crazy, right? Like I think she just has that, like she has the character. You feel like she really means it. She really wants it. I don't know. I thought it was a great person to win it.
What y'all think about Lash Legend making it to the final two? I thought that was interesting.
I like that. I like, because you just assume Nia's going to be in the final two. It's a battle royal, and she's normally always in the final two because she's hard to get out. Like, but they got her out right before, and that I liked how Lash and Stephanie, how they used each other as weapons to get Nia out. Like you didn't have the gang up early like you do. I mean, now you just had those two, and they used each other as weapons, and then they fought it out, and they gave Nikki her shine, let her get in the final four, and then Stephanie doing the devil's kiss on the apron to eliminate Lash was that the soul snatcher for the two best women's moves in wrestling right now.
Booker T was having a hot. He was losing it. At home. He was probably to hose him off.
Well, like now, like Wade Barrett's picking up the slack there on the main roster.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the whole crowd is. The crowd ain't even counting 1, 2, 3. They're just going.
I kind of wish McAfee was around for this because he would get into it. But
they probably have to bleep a whole lot of what McAfee said.
I like what they did with this in general, like as a whole, that they were able to get a lot of women, some of them that you may not see if you don't watch NXT. Kyle, you got to see probably a lot of women that maybe you had.
Barely. The NXT got thrown out quick. They got rid of
NXT quick.
But they all got their entrances, which I thought was cool. They all got kind of got to see their characters and
only if you.
Oh, actually, no, I didn't see any of the entrances or like the last couple.
Yeah, only if you have premium did you get to see the entrances.
Yeah, I didn't see half the entrances.
I guess I do because I saw all the entrances. They
me too. But you could tell they were going to
us
commercial.
Poor folk over here didn't see all them entrances. I got the regular.
You could tell they were going to commercial because Cole even said, "We'll keep the entrances like they're going to enter and we'll be back in a second." Like,
well, I like that because you get like you didn't know who's going to be in it, and since they don't come in one at a time like the Royal Rumble, then you kind of don't get to see all. They just throw them all in the ring. At least that kind of spotlighted each person that came in, and I thought that was cool. To me, just because I knew all the wrestlers, but for those that don't, you gave them.
Like this was one where they like announced everybody who's going to be in it. There were no surprises. They announced, hey, here they like showed a graphic. These are the 16, and there was no extras. No, like it was those people and nobody else.
Yeah, I liked it. They mixed it kind of. They had the nostalgia. They had a lot of NXT. You had some main roster.
What? Are you calling Nikki nostalgia? Or
well, yeah. I mean, she's the nostalgia actor you're gonna have if you're.
Natalia was in there too, right? Or no?
Well, she's in.
I don't think was she.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, she was. Yeah.
Natalia's in every role. She's been in like every Royal Rumble, every Battle Royal, and that's
go home. Go join Goldberg.
Outside of Trish, the nostalgia on the show was just in the state. Like they kept showing them in the crowd.
Yeah.
They would alternate. They'd show a rapper and then a legend, a rapper and a legend.
Man, I nearly cut off my TV when I heard Vicky Guerrero.
I was going to ask about that.
Bro.
So people are mad about that. I'm not going to get into it, but I went through a rabbit hole. I learned a lot about Vicky Guerrero I did not know.
Oh yeah, I don't out of the ring stuff. I have no idea. I'm just saying the character in the ring.
But I saw people are mad that they even trotted her on the show because there's something going on with her daughter. That I don't know.
Yeah,
but I did go down that rabbit hole the other day after finding. I had no idea about it.
God bless you. I do want to say though that something I forgot to mention in the triple threat, and I'll mention it. I'll go back to it. But the ending of the match, like this match, the ending of this battle royal, the way it ended with the devil's kiss on the apron and Vaquero just kind of throws Lash off the side, like that was a beautiful ending. And then the triple threat, one of the best pins I've ever seen in my life. Becky, so fluid, just rolled over and backslid on Bayley to get that pin. That was a phenomenal pin. So the way they ended these two matches was just Triple H adding a little on the end of it, just a little.
They had everything against them, like this pay-per-view, because, like, I mean, it was the last of a long weekend of wrestling. The Beyonce concert going on right across the street. So much was going on in Atlanta this week. SEC Media Days, MLB All-Star, the MLB Draft. Like, Atlanta was loaded this week. So, like, they had everything against them, and they just overperformed.
Yes.
Speaking of overperformed, the main event, guys. Holy moly. I don't know. I've seen a lot of good women's matches, guys. This one's top 5, at least for me. This one was I was concerned at one point there was going to be another one of those Kyle's favorite where the ref gets taken out and then we had something, but they kept going and I was like, none of us raise your hand if you thought there was a cash in coming in this match. I mean, I sure there was no because we all thought we knew where the cash in was going. It was going the other brand. And especially after Naomi basically got killed early in the night. And then these two ladies just kill each other. I know Kyle said something. Was it you or Jeremy that said something about the Rhea catching EO or she would have died? I don't remember if it was Hubbard or you.
It was Jeremy. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So, but man, did they put on a performance. I mean, I knew these two were good in the ring, but this is the best I've ever seen out of them. It was phenomenal. I'm trying to think, and I want to say it was the best women's match of the weekend. Just by thinking of just off the top of my head, nothing came close. Now there was some AEW matches that were also phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but this match, it had everything. It had great wrestling, and it did not end. It didn't end because now we have a cash in, and Naomi's got the title. And it was this was perfect. Everything about this match was absolutely perfect. They knocked it out of the park, and now we get another triple threat here. This is one I don't mind running back, KO, because I know we've seen it if they've been going it, but this one, after that performance, we got to throw Naomi in there.
Yeah, here's my issue with that.
Threat, though, you know what happens in triple threats? There's no rules, KO. It's basically a street fight.
I know, but here's my issue is, and I'm kind of contradicting. I think we're both kind of contradicting ourselves, but I don't like that. It's just take out Bianca, insert Naomi to the same thing we saw at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? It's the same match, ran back, insert different person here. But you're right. The different character adds a lot because it's Naomi who's doing some of the best work of her life right now. So I'm incredibly intrigued and interested in the match for sure. And this, you said the best women's match of the weekend, probably best women's match of the year already, and probably going to hold up to be the best women's match of the year. I think, obviously, we talked about the Sasha Bailey match at the Takeover in Brooklyn, probably the best women's match in WWE history, arguably. I really liked the Bianca and Sasha match at WrestleMania 37, I think, the one in Tampa. I really liked that match too, but this one it had everything. I mean, it had the ref bump, but it didn't affect the match really.
It added to the match because then they got to go outside and do things and just killed each other even more.
Right.
And then,
the ref couldn't see it.
Right. Because he was.
And you've got the intrigue of, the whole time you're going in, is Rhea finally going to beat EO, right? And and then you get to see EO do some of her best work. She's not big, but and then in the back and forth and I thought it was, and then the hug at the end, but then you still see Rhea kind of give that I don't know, she still had that hint of am I still heel? You had that is she gonna grab her right now and throw her? You still had that weird
I thought the whole time until they left the arena the way it was going. I thought something could happen there, and it never did. But I was watching. I was intently watching body language, and I was like, man, they could. Is she gonna turn on her right here and just because they extended the show out? I felt like, at least on my end, they may have cut you guys off, but I saw the entire. They exited the arena before they cut the camera off, and but man, what a match! Brandon, tell us about it, Dirt Sheet. What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed the match even without the cash in, and then when you get the cash in, just the way the ending, I was just like, oh, this is fantastic. And but and they took out Jessica Carr pretty not early, but they took her out early, and then they like you said, they were able to do stuff because this wasn't a street fight or no holds bar. They had to get her out, and they went and and they also played on Rhea had the win, and she didn't get it because the refs counted to 10 or the crowd counted to 10, she had the win, and then so that's what also I thought we were getting the heel turn after because it was taken away from her twice. She should have had it in the match and then the cash in, but they went and she did the power bomb off the equipment, and like you said, EO jumping off and Rhea catching her, and but then Naomi's music, and I was like, wait, what? And then and so it was just it was great, and
I do have a problem. With the cash-in process. It should not have to wait for Alicia Taylor to make this long announcement. Naomi is cashing in her Money in the Bank contract for the Women's World Championship. Like,
Cal, you know why they do that? It's because that way it gives them time for it to, let's just see if it's actually going to happen. That's why.
I know, but that is the most ridiculous thing. You sprint down to the ring, hurriedly cash it in, and then you have to wait 10 to 15 seconds before you get in to do anything. That is the dumbest thing ever. That's my only critique in the match.
You have to wait.
It's as dumb as Edge coming for the save and going to the crowd and doing his.
We're going to get to that. That's dumb too. But that's my only critique of this match is the cash-in process is so stupid. That is the only critique I have.
It gives them a chance, and they do the I was going to cash in, but I didn't get to the 3 other times. The thing I thought this might be, if it had, I don't know. I thought this was going to maybe be the one time the cash in didn't work, because the ladies have always cashed in and been successful. I thought, is this the one time?
I don't think you could do that with Naomi as hot as
you couldn't with her. Yeah, wouldn't it? The character, that would have been a terrible thing.
Yeah, we would talk about things totally different right now. Off that.
Yeah.
But it was funny after the announcement.
It'd have been like if Jey Uso never won that championship. Like, he's right there. He's got you have to. Like, it's kind of forced.
But it was funny after the announcement. Then she waits and then she whacks her in the head, and then she does her move and everything. But
she faked it. She faked the briefcase hit first. Like,
well, she was waiting for the announcement to finish, like Kyle said, because she had to wait.
Now she was ready for it. She should have ran. So Io went to the other side of the ring and get away from the.
And I don't know if y'all heard it, but they had already rang the bell, and then she had to finish the announcement, and they had to ring it again. Like, it's so stupid.
Because Naomi was actually waiting for the bell to ring to use the briefcase because she knew they'd make it no DQ.
When they hand it to the referee and they let go of it, it's cashed in. It is cashed in. Ring the bell.
But
don't announce it. Just ring it.
But then Naomi wanted it back so she could use it as a weapon.
Well, that's fine. But after the bell rings, take it back and think. Right. You don't have to make a whole announcement. It's so stupid.
And then Kyle was hoping when the extra ref came out, he was hoping we'd get a different Vicky, the new Vicky ref.
Boy,
was that the first match or was that the?
I will watch NXT. Just tell me when she's refereeing.
I've never seen her on NXT.
Evolve, whatever.
I think she's on
Ring
Evolve.
Of Honor, TNA.
I think she's on
whatever
Evolve.
It is.
Is she related to the chick that was Is she related to the girl that was on Baywatch?
Could be. Genes are strong, brother. Genes are strong.
That's what I was wondering. Looks like her mom a little. I mean, looks like what could have been her mom. I don't know. When I saw the name,
text the group. I said, "Who is this?"
I didn't know either because I've never seen her on NXT. She must be on Evolve.
Well, they got to have all women's referees, so they had to go
deep back. Going to be all the way to the top after that.
Well, she may wrestle. I think she wants to be a wrestler, so she may wrestle.
I did a little bit of research on her. She was in the training center
because Jessica wrestles in Evolve.
Yeah. So she may get in the ring later. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm a fan.
They said she was a championship boxer somewhere.
Okay.
Yes. Before. Yeah. She could throw hands. So I'm not gonna mess with her. But she... I forgot all about that. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, that was.
I remembered your text. I knew you want to.
Oh man.
I do want to say too about Evolution. Like Brandon mentioned it. WWE set them up to fail. Like, let's not sugarcoat this. WWE set up this women's show to fail. They expected it to fail. They put all the odds against it at the end of a huge weekend where they overloaded everyone with wrestling in the city that had way too much going on already to throw an all women's wrestling show on there. They wanted it. I'm not gonna say they wanted it to fail, but if it had failed, they had all these built-in excuses. Oh, the women couldn't draw, or blah 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 blah, because all this other stuff was going on. But the women went out there and said a big DX chant to management and said, "We got this," and absolutely crushed it. Hats off to the women. They deserve all the flowers. They did a phenomenal job.
So you guys think we see this a yearly event now?
Well, I don't know because how long was it? Was it 8 years since the last one.
It would be 8 years, but I don't think you want to make it an annual thing. It needs to be special. I think it maybe every couple years or so, but every year I don't
Bully Ray, on his deal, I think he said this show goes to prove that they don't need to have their own show. They can just go up higher up on the card on a regular PLE. Let's add another match to every PLE. Nobody's going to complain if you give me one more match. I'm not going to be mad. I'll love it. If you're going to make me sit there for 3 and I love the pace. I thought the pace of the night was great. No, but I mean, I thought they did a good job of the pace where they did the quick kick over to Joe Tessitore sometimes, right? Like it didn't feel like it drug out. I thought they did a great job of transitioning to the next match. I don't know. I just thought I thought it was the best PLE pacing wise that I've seen in a long time.
It felt like a takeover show. It felt like an old NXT Black and Gold takeover where you had match, promo package, it just flowed so well, and it was excellent wrestling. I mean, other than the cash-in debacle, no notes from me. I think it was a phenomenal show.
And you still like the cash-in just the way it happened?
Loved it, yes. I just think the process of it is dumb.
Take note, Triple H. Kyle has got some thoughts on your cash-in process. He'd love to consult with you for a phenomenal fee.
I do not want to get anywhere near Paul Levesque because he could squash me like a bug. So let's stay far away from him.
All right, let's see. Hey, we're just getting to All In, I guess. Now that's the next one on the card. That wasn't too bad a show, was it, guys? The All In show.
Yeah, that's just so we don't talk about it for 6 to 11 hours.
I knew I saw somebody else in the chat over here. I said, wait, there's another person here.
Wait,
mystery man.
It is the professor.
Oh, the professor.
Matt Diggs is in with us. Hey, Matt, we're about to start All In. So you're here for the main card. But before we start that, give us your thoughts, kind of an overview of what you thought of everything else that happened this weekend. How much did you get to watch? I know it was a wrestling overhaul. Your brain was probably mentally fatigued from all the wrestling, but what was your thoughts on the rest of the weekend?
It really is. I don't know how Brandon did it, going actually going in person and having to make the trek over here to the DF Dub and do 8 hours. And what time did you get in there, Brandon? The show started at 12.
So we got to Globe Life at 11:30. Wait, they weren't letting us in till 12. So got our credentials right at 12, got in, and so got up to the press box about 12:15. They start match about 12:45. So they got the pre-show till 2, then the main card 2 to almost 8. Then we go to the press conference. It finally starts about 8:25. Finally got out of there about 10:15. So it's about 11 hour day at Globe Life.
So I mean, watched that. I watched the Great American Bash. I watched Saturday Night Main Events, and I'm halfway through Evolution right now. I just watched Jade plant Naomi through a table. So the rest of the show that I don't know, and I don't know what happened on Raw. So if I don't know if Seth's knee is a work or not, so I'm still enjoying that element of it. But overall, and we'll talk about All In. I've been really disappointed about WWE. Just in general, I think Saturday Night Main Events had a lot to leave desired, but I can't wait to dig into All In. So, Brett, let's hear your masterclass in leading us through it.
Hey, Brett, before we get started,
okay,
I want this on record that first off, Diggs halfway agrees with me about the Seth Rollins work part. All right. And secondly, I want this to be known in the chat, in our group text on Saturday. I complained about something that I know Diggs is going to complain about. So Diggs, me and you are going to be tag team partners tonight. All right. Let's do it.
I'm in it.
It's the other way.
No, other way.
No, other way for you, Kyle.
There it is. All right.
He's here. There you go. That's the side. There you go. Okay. All right. So I was on the beach on Saturday, and so I was kicking it back with the waves and the wind in my face, trying to help these guys find the show on my phone. And so I didn't know it started at 2, which means I was not there for the 0 hour. So I'm going to defer to Brandon because I know he was there for every second of the action here. And I'm just the matches here. I mean, I didn't really miss anything. I feel like just looking at who they were. Kyle agrees with me. Looks like I didn't miss anything. Brandon, give us your thoughts on the 0 hour matches for us.
Well, to start off with the Sons of Texas against Shane Taylor Promotions, I thought they would scrap this once because it was already announced that Dustin and Sammy were going to be in the Fatal 4-Way for the TNT title. So I thought they would scrap this match. But by still having it and Dustin getting the win there, it added – I don't know if you saw, I wrote a story about Dustin Rhodes, about him now having 3 titles, his first singles title since 2002, his first one in AEW, and now he's got 3 titles in – he's got the 2 Ring of Honor, the tags, and the trios. And he also won 3 matches in 24 hours, less than 24 hours, because he had the Ring of Honor win with Sammy on Friday night, and then they won this 4-way, and then this 8-person all-star tag or whatever they call it. And then he won the TNT Championship on the main show. But so that added to it, but I thought they would scrap this one, and they didn't. And then but we got Kevin Von Erich coming out and doing the Iron Claw, which was really cool. And then the second match, we get Big Boom AJ. We get the moment with Trent and Big Justice. Big Justice. What a lot of people said that might have been the best spear of the weekend. So we had that. But we get Big Boom AJ. We get the Rizzler. We get Kyle O'Reilly doing the little Rizzler thing, and so that was entertaining. And then Outrunners and FTR though. The week before they put on a classic on Collision. They put on another good match. Outrunners coming out dressed like Newports, but it was a heck of a match. I mean, the Outrunners they're good. They're really they're interesting characters, but they're really good in the ring. And FTR makes you look good too because they're one of the best tag teams ever. So, and I didn't think I would like them with Big Stoke, but it's actually working too. And so, so this was a really good pre-show match, and it's like, why is FTR not on the main card of the biggest show of the year? And they probably should have been. They probably should have been facing the Hurt Syndicate. But I really enjoyed this match, and then we get into the main card, and it was 6 hours long, but it was, and I heard it didn't come across on TV. That that's what I heard, but it was so loud in that place. That because everybody you see on Twitter and stuff like, oh, why is it so dead in there? And we're like, well, we're tired, but it was rocking in there the whole time. I mean, I don't remember a part in the main card where that place was not on fire. It was loud, and the place was just. I mean, it was the largest crowd they've ever had in North America. It was from everything I heard, everybody loved the experience inside. It was different. It was actually my second show inside of a baseball stadium. I've enjoyed both of them, but it was an interesting setup. I was in the press box, and where when I was in the press box at Mania, you couldn't really hear the crowd. You could hear the commentary. Here at Globe Life, the press box is open air, so you can hear the entire crowd, and you can still hear the commentary. So you get that double. And so I got
that's cool because I think that's what I miss when I go to the show is getting to hear the commentators.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to go, but like I want to know what they're saying. Kind of like when we're what we do on Friday nights. We provide that extra something that you don't get at the game. Like I miss that as a fan going to. So that was probably that I would have enjoyed that.
I like being there, and we also have monitors. So if you it's way down there. So if you can't see, there's big screens everywhere too. But we have monitors up there to show like the actual what was happening on the pay-per-view. So I could kind of see the paper. There was TVs right in front of me where I could see what was going on in the actual pay-per-view too. So that
they
was.
They need to take a cue from NASCAR. I don't know if y'all have ever been to one, but you can rent headphones and you can hear the TV broadcast. So you can hear the at the track broadcast. You can tune into individual drivers and listen to their so like it would be cool to have some kind of deal where you could put a headphone in, and like there's even ones you can see the screen and you get the TV broadcast. You can watch it while you can watch the So I mean, it's kind of a cool just something where you could get both, or you can still hear the people going crazy and cheering while you're there, but then you get the headphones down and you can listen to the TV commentary as they're racing around, and you get those little things you might miss on the.
Well, if they make more money, Jeremy. I think they might want to do that.
I mean, NASCAR's making a bundle. It's like $60 or $65 to rent the headset or 2 headsets and the little thing. So I mean, you could make a killing doing it.
You don't need to give them any more ideas.
Okay, so first match of the card. I actually was still on the beach at this point. I didn't make it back till about 3, so I missed this match. This was the Ops versus the Death Riders. I'm sure Kyle enjoyed this match because he loves the Death Riders. Kyle, I want your thoughts first on this match because I'm curious to know what you thought about this one.
It was I was a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little worried when the Death Riders won. Or did they win? No, they lost. I was gonna be worried if they won because I felt like if they won, then that was gonna mean Mox was gonna win at the end of the night. But once they lost, I felt a little bit better. I don't really know what's going on with the Ops because Hook was part of that group originally, and as of last night on Dynamite, he's not even being mentioned with the Ops now. So I have no idea what's going on with the Ops. That injury angle with Samoa Joe, he's probably going to film something with Twisted Metal or something. So that makes sense. I mean, the match, for a card that's 8 hours long, this is one match that could have been left off the card. I feel like it didn't serve a purpose. You could have done the injury angle on Dynamite or something.
Well, you had to get Chewbacca on the card, KO.
Of course you did. Yeah, you had to. Yeah, absolutely. It was necessary. But I mean, the match was fine. Like, it wasn't a bad match. It didn't matter at the end of the day, and it just took up time that on a very, very long show.
Yeah, I thought this was one they could have, and not even necessarily scrapped. I thought they could have put this on the 0 hour in place of the extra Dustin and Sammy match. I thought they could have moved this to the and then you have a
Brandon, they had to make it long so it would run over against the Saturday Night Main Event.
I mean, it would have anyway. It ran and our joke was like, hey, is Hangman Moxley going to go in like 10 minutes in Saturday Night Main Event? Well, it didn't even start until 15 minutes. Like the match before the Okada Omega match, it went into Saturday Night Main Event. So they had no problem going into that. So and this match wasn't that long, but so it was an okay opening match. Like, and it was a weird that's one thing AEW doesn't like. They don't try to open with a bang. WWE tries to open with a bang, then they like soften the middle and then build back up. Where AEW they gradually build their whole show always. They never try to start off with a bang. Like I might have started with the Ospreay swerving the match or one of the gauntlets or something to get the crowd going a little bit, where this doesn't really do that. But
they do that on Dynamite sometimes though. Where they used to be Orange Cassidy.
Yeah,
or
with their pay-per-views they don't.
Darby Allin or somebody would always lead off the show. Like now Ospreay does it a lot where he'll just lead off the show to get the crowd hype. But they don't, not pay-per-views, they don't. You're right. They don't do it the same way. But it's interesting.
But and then if Moxley were to get written off, I could see them doing something with Gabe. Gabe Kidd looks like he could be the leader of that group. I mean, he belongs in that group. And I don't know. I sent y'all the video the other night at Collision. I mean, he was like 2 feet from me. He walked right by me. I was not making any sudden movements because the night before he was like, and even at he was flipping people off and yelling in their faces. And I was like, I'm not getting anywhere near that guy because he's very terrifying and he's like legit crazy.
I'm going to disagree with you just a little bit, Kyle. I know this is a very common theme where I got to disagree with you. I agree with you where the match itself, match quality, didn't do much, but I feel like they did start to create a storyline there because maybe Samoa Joe is hurt or going off to a movie or whatever, but taking him out kind of makes you think, okay, that's one less person to go against in the main event where you're going to have to deal with all of this craziness, and they're starting to take people out. And now it kind of gives you that doubt because I think we all probably went into this thinking Moxley is going to lose the belt. But once Samoa Joe got hurt, you're starting to think, okay, what's going on here? They're starting to take people out. How are they going to compensate for this? And obviously we'll talk about how they did compensate for that. So I like that. I like the fact that they kind of did that and gave us a little bit of storyline early, which takes us to the end, even though the match quality, as you mentioned, could have taken or leaving it.
I agree with you. Huh? Look at that. Look at us.
Friends.
Oh, what's going on in the world here? If we've got agreement here, man, and something we talked about earlier, Professor, and like your thoughts on it as we're talking about the All In card. Adam Cole obviously didn't get to compete and had a heartfelt message in the show. What was your thoughts about that? Did you see the spot where he got injured?
To me, I was like thinking to myself, this is a work to get Dustin a title or something. But then it made it clear that something is wrong with him, and I didn't see the spot or see what happened. That he walked out just fine. I mean, so it kind of made me think that I didn't know. I haven't had a chance to read the dirt sheets to find out the severity of the injury, but it became real clear real quick that it wasn't a work, given how emotional everybody was. But yeah, that's obviously not knowing yet what the severity of that injury is. It's sad to see. I like Adam Cole, and I like that group, and I like all three of them together. It's just kind of a fun throwback to the Undisputed Era over at NXT, back when NXT actually meant something. Doesn't mean as much now these days.
Jeremy, do you have any thoughts on this? You're back there.
I didn't get to watch as much. I'll be honest. I didn't. I don't know that I care about AEW enough yet to pay.
No.
Is that the safe answer?
You are good. You are that. Listen. If I had to pay $50 a month for it, I'd pay for the pay-per-view, because the pay-per-views are worth it. But the week-to-week television is not worth it.
And so I didn't. So I caught. So I don't want to pretend. I caught a lot of it on like the bites and clips that I've seen online since then. And so I'm not the aforementioned.
We'll talk tomorrow about a way maybe you can afford these from now on.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk.
Sounds good.
Kyle was the last believer, and he is now a member of the club.
I don't use that. I don't use it for anything other than AEW pay-per-views. That is instead of $50 a month, it's whatever it is a month. I don't even know, but it's worth it.
You don't even use it for football?
No, because most of the time the Eagles games are on Fox. So
that's true. That's true.
But
if prime time,
I like watching Red Zone. So
if you were trying to get the Eagles games, you could watch them all for sure. So,
yes, I could.
Or the 49ers every week, like somebody else likes to watch.
When you're a Super Bowl champ, you get primetime spots. So we'll be on all the major channels this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm usually stuck to the Sirius XM audio broadcast.
So you'd really be able to take advantage of this option, Jeremy. We'll definitely.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to get together on that.
All right, so we're gonna go to the next match. It's the Gauntlet match, men's casino gauntlet match, and we kind of all knew that our main MJF was gonna win this, but there was some good action in this match. It was a good little match. I enjoyed Briscoe and MJF's interaction. I love the character of Mark Briscoe. He's just that guy that just doesn't give a flip, and he's just going to say whatever he wants. And, I feel like they've done a pretty decent job of, like, he was never a singles guy, right? He was always that, tag team partner. He never really had that singles run, but they've used him pretty well. I've enjoyed his feuds just because he's a great worker and a great guy on the microphone. And so I enjoyed that. I thought what was funny in this match is you had the Bowens interact. Like, he was laid out on the ring, and they had his boy walk right by him, talking crap, and he just kind of looked at him. Did I miss it, or did they have any kind of feud yet? Bowens and Caster.
No, they never had like a blow off. They just kind of separated.
Okay, because I thought it was weird that he just walked by
Brandon, that this is a long build for them to get back together. Like, this is like a long angle for them that they're going to break up, realize they can't do it by themselves, and get back together. And I think it's genius if that's what they're doing.
Bowens had like a moment after when he got eliminated. He went to the back and like started like showing some heel tendencies, and like, I mean, I think he's about to turn on Billy, so maybe they get back together as a heel team.
Yeah, they were. Then they come in originally as a heel because they would come out and talk.
Yeah, but they got so over with the rapping.
Yeah.
And even though Caster's a heel, he I mean, you chant with him because you're like best wrestler alive. Like, let's go next.
I hate it. I don't know.
No,
I think I think Bowen's and the 5-tool player. Like, I don't know. It's just they were better.
I don't
together.
like it. I don't like it at all. I'm not a fan of Bowens and what he's doing. Caster's gimmick is ridiculous to me, but I mean, it is catchy, but it's also like just ridiculous. But the match, like going into it, we knew MJF was gonna. I had a good idea MJF was gonna win it. I'm not the biggest Mark Briscoe fan. He's good. I think he's good on the mic too. But me personally, I'm not the biggest Mark Briscoe fan. Not that I don't like him. I don't. If he's on TV, great. If he's not, I don't miss him. So I'm glad MJF won it. And the way he won it was an MJF way to win it. Very cheeky, let everybody else do the work and him clean up afterwards. But I thought the gauntlet match though was good. My issue with it is it's ridiculous when everybody's just kind of laying around, playing dead on the outside, just waiting for their spot. And there was a lot of that. And I think I do like the concept of the gauntlet, right? You don't know how long it is until the next person comes in. It's not a set time. I like that concept. But there's got to be something where there's not 8 people laying around on the outside just kind of waiting for
the women's match was worse.
It was worse.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
I didn't know everybody went. There was like 20 entrants and I didn't see but like 2 or 3 of them. Like he didn't even see the rest of them.
That's what I'm saying. So that's my problem with the gauntlet match. It needs to be revamped. And I think if you're going to do the gauntlet match, it only needs to be at All In. We don't need to see it at any other shows. It goes with the concept of All In. A casino gauntlet match at All In. It goes with the theme. We don't need to see it, 4 or 5 times a year. Let's just keep it at one place. But we need to revamp it. We got to revamp it somehow because it can't continue with the way it is. But I thought it was a decent gauntlet match. I mean, I enjoyed it. I was entertained in it.
I don't like about the gauntlet
Briscoe's
match.
got the best stank eye in the business, right? Like he gives you that crazy eye. Like I think his character is compelling in that sense, like because you're like he's legit crazy. Like it's almost like he doesn't have to try, right? Like I think he's the one guy that's believable. Is like you think he's insane, and yet he's got some skill. I was worried when he went solo. I didn't think it was going to work, but I think he's done a good job of leaning into that. Probably who he is a little bit more. And really playing that up.
Yeah, my highlights were because I wasn't sure how they were going to do the Mystico entrance in the gauntlet match. Because if a pin happens, it's over. But they let him get his entrance in. I was happy about that because I mean I think that's a top 5 entrance in wrestling right now. I got to see it twice that last week. And it was awesome in a stadium. But I thought MJF was going to like stop him before he could do it. But he got his entrance in. We got the return of Juice Robinson looking like Bo Dallas. But with Juice's back, the guns weren't in the match, but the guns are back. We got some decent stuff, and then MJF wins, but we expected that. But it was a the gauntlet match is kind of like a Royal Rumble. It's just fun to see all the entrances. Just like I like the countdowns. It's like the 5, 4. But except at the gauntlet match, you never know when it's coming because it's not like sometimes it's a minute, sometimes it's 10 minutes. Like there's no rhyme or reason.
It needs to be a set time.
Yeah,
because
that makes
I
sense.
I feel like in the women's match, there was like every 30 seconds for like 5 minutes, there was like another person coming.
But at the end, there would be like 10 minutes, and you're like, wait, is that everybody? And then someone else came out, and then it was like 5 minutes, and then another person came out.
Well, I don't think it's the time thing. I think we need to know, okay, there's 15 entrants. Okay, cool. So when there's 15 women in there, there's nobody else coming out.
Like a Royal Rumble, we know there's 30.
Right. Like the women's match, though, you didn't know how many women were there. So when you had all these rapid fire entrances and then there was nothing, you were like, well, is there somebody else coming out? Is this everybody? Like what's happening? So again, it just needs to be revamped, the whole style of it.
I agree, Big Goose, because there's a lot of psychology they're not taking advantage of. I feel like one of the things they kept talking about maybe two gauntlet matches ago was that Roderick Strong was the next one out, but he didn't get out, so that they kind of turned that into a storyline. But we didn't know that. They could have just made that up because we have no clue. I think they should let us know, like, here are 25 people, and if you want to do mystery people, put mystery people in there, just so we can actually build the psychology of it, because the way they do it has so many holes and there's just so many things. And we have yet to really have the gauntlet end in 2 or 3 to where 20 people are disappointed at that point. And until that happens, it's just these giant clusters that are overbooked. And I don't like that element of it. And then I was thinking, okay, well, maybe we're going to see the women's side actually have that element, but you can't do that with the women, because then you're going to complain about the fact that you had all these women who didn't make the card, and this whole anti-feminist thing where we're not getting to have the women out there. So you knew the women was going to be an overbooked cluster as well. So I feel like you got to do something to create the psychology of that a little bit better. And if you're only going to do it once a year, you really got to maybe make some people mad. I mean, sometimes you're going to have a Brian Danielson losing 17 seconds to Sheamus, but you got to do it to keep things honest. And right now, we're not seeing that honesty with the gauntlet matches.
It almost reminds me a little bit. I don't know if y'all have played, but like my son and I have been playing WWE 2K, and like when you do the Royal Rumble, like you can't have more than 6 people in the ring because the game can't hold it, right? And so like sometimes it's like somebody gets thrown out and it's like 10, 9, 8, right? And then all of a sudden you have 6 and you fight, and then 2 people get thrown out, so it's like it kind of feels like that a little bit. It's like they have okay, we can only have so many people in it right now, and then we got to wait. It's almost like that, which is fine in some ways, but if nobody knows, it kind of feels weird. So, we're just sitting there one day playing. I'm like, we've been playing for 10 minutes and nobody knews come in, and then somebody got tossed over the top, and then 3 seconds later, here comes the next entrant, number 17 or whatever. We're like, where's this guy been?
That's interesting. I haven't played that particular match. So, with all the technology we have, it's crazy that they can't hold more.
And it may be 8. I can't remember what the number is, but there's a limit to what you can have in the ring. And once you get there, like the little bar across the bottom's got every name, and it can't get any bigger. And so then you have to like knock somebody out so they can throw in and slide everybody over. So
you're right, Jeremy. It's 6.
Is it 6? Okay, I thought it was 6, but
I always thought that was weird too. But I get it. The same thing. I get why.
Yeah.
All right. Next match is the match that was changed to a fatal 4-way, and surprisingly, Dustin Rhodes, the Natural, wins the title. Man, I just thought it was Fletcher, man. I just thought it was his time. I thought he was going to get it. I know why they gave it to Dustin Rhodes, because of the Texas pop or whatever, and it's crazy that he got like Brandon said earlier, the 3 wins in 24 hours. What a weekend for him. You don't know how many more, years he will actually full-time wrestle. I'm sure he'll have a job there as a producer and whatever else he wants. He probably does a little bit of that now. But man, congrats to him. I think, I don't know how long he'll keep this. But Don Callis and his ever-growing family of 25, I think his family has just expanded. Huge. He's bigger than the MFTs. His family tree is growing very large.
It's like the Duggar family.
Yeah,
17 of them suckers.
He picked up two more young bucks the other night. Are now in the family again, and so I don't know. I thought it was a really good match. I enjoyed it. I don't like Kyle Fletcher because I think he's annoying, but he is very good in the ring. Like he is. When him and Ospreay were going at it there. I know you put your phone down for Ospreay, but those matches they put on were incredible. I think it'll come around again, maybe for a title at some time for those two again. But I think he's next in line for this title. But congrats to Dustin Rhodes, man. He's been more well utilized in his end of his career in AEW than they ever did with him in WWE with his Goldust character. No matter how popular he was, and he had some small runs, but I really like what they've done. He did a good job of also going to AEW, reinventing himself a new character, and it's been real successful, just like Cody did.
I mean, they did lost over Dustin early, but lately he's just been buried on ROH, and none of us watch. I mean, we couldn't even get the pay-per-view there night. Like so a lot of times he's buried there. And like before this injury, all he had scheduled was RH. Then they scheduled the 0 hour, and then now the injury opened a spot for him, and it worked out. But originally he wasn't even on the card for, he was the one doing all the, he interviewed with Kyle to hype this up, and he wasn't even going to be on the card, and it ended up working out. And now he got his moment, and I was very happy to see, because we were talking. I just didn't think he was going to win. We thought it was going to be Fletcher, because I think the original plan would have been Fletcher to beat Adam Cole. But then they were able to get Dustin this moment, and then being in the press conference and seeing him, how happy he was, and he's great. I mean, Kyle got to talk to him, so he knows, but he is absolutely great. And so it was really cool to see that moment and how, just how emotional he was. And the whole place, and that match was also hard to follow because that match was hard because it came right after Adam Cole's speech. So that was the one, like I told you earlier, the crowd was buzzing the whole time, but the crowd had kind of deflated just a little bit after Adam Cole's speech and was dead during that match a little bit. But then Dustin winning kind of re-energized things. And then we'll get to the next match because it really energized things. But my problem with Fletcher is I thought he was going to win it, and I get why you don't like him. You're not supposed to. He's a heel, but he's got that star potential.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't like him, not like him because he's more like Logan Paul. He just annoys me with Don Callis and them. But
the thing I didn't like though is a week ago we thought, he's gonna be the TNT champion. Now he loses there, and last night they have him face some rando to start the show, that nobody knows of, and it's like, what are we doing? But I mean, he did say he's going after Dustin, but it's like, what are we doing with him? Like, he had all this momentum, and now it kind of got taken away, and to no fault of his own.
Brandon, I'm just gonna crap on it because I hated that. I mean, I appreciate Texas and Dustin and all of that, but that's almost like up there with David Arquette winning a title. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You've got Kyle Fletcher, who's one of their hottest stars, who's looking like on a trajectory of Randy Orton at this point. I mean, I know he kind of manners his mannerisms after.
I thought Kyle should have won too. I just said that.
But I mean, the fact that you're happy for it, I'm sad for it. I feel like AEW took a step back.
I'm happy for Dustin the person. Not
how can you be happy for Dustin the person when he's basically just gifted 3 titles that he looks like he could barely move in that match. I mean, it was sad. And instead of just having the foresight and just putting him down, they give him another title to where we got to deal with 3 titles. This is embarrassing.
And I halfway agree with you. And he's going to lose it to Fletcher. I thought Fletcher was going to win, and I thought he should have won. But it was also being there cool to see Dustin get that moment.
If you remember what happened at the end of that match, it's like people started cheering, and then it was like the slow build, like, oh, that's kind of cool, because some people were so shocked by the ending of that match, and then like, okay, I guess we got to be happy for him because he's crying, I guess he won his world championship finally, a TNT championship, but it puts AEW backward because they got so many stars, and that's a problem with AEW right now. Is this talent base is so good, you got to try to find angles for all these people, and Dustin Rhodes is one of your champions. We just eliminated a championship with a unified title, and you're giving one of your last championships.
We got 3
Dustin Rhodes.
We got 3.
We didn't eliminate nothing. We just added another random title. But I'm with you, Diggs. Okay. The reason we know why they did it, right? Because Adam Cole just had that emotional message. They needed something to get that crowd back into it. So it was a hometown pop. It was a cheap hometown pop. That's what it was. Let's look at it for what it is. It wasn't anything beyond that. But I agree with you where it is 2025. You have a ton of stars. Dustin Rhodes shouldn't be holding championship gold in AEW right now. I'm happy for him that he did it. I get that part of it, but it's Fletcher's time. I think they had to audible because I think if Cole doesn't get hurt, Fletcher wins Saturday. But because Cole got hurt, they had to audible, and Tony just went with the easy option. Let's give it to Dustin. But they could have put anybody in there. Why did Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara have to be in the Fatal 4-Way when they just wrestled on the pre-show? That's the bigger issue to me.
Texas. That's why.
Okay, but that's the problem though. And to Dig's point, you have all this talent, but you threw two people on there that just wrestled, like literally on that same day.
Well, so they should have canceled that match.
Yeah. Right, but they didn't. And so now you have them wrestling twice on the same day. Then you give the championship to Dustin. Again, happy for Dustin, but it wasn't, I mean, I get why they did it. I get why they did it. Dustin's not going to hold it long. Fletcher's going to be the TNT champion soon. I mean, they did it because Tony did the best thing he could do in the moment. Do I love it? No. But will it last long? No.
I'm fine with it right now temporarily. But if Dustin holds the title for 2 or 3 months, then
it's not going to be. It's going to be the next. But I think Fletcher winning it the way he's going to win it now is going to be more impactful. Like, because it was going to be impactful him beating Adam Cole for it. I don't know if in that match, him winning it would have been very impactful because they're like, oh, he beat 2 ROH guys and Daniel Garcia's lost all his juice, and so like I don't think that would have been impactful. Now, yes, he's going to beat a 56-year-old Dustin Rhodes, but Dustin's going to be, and he's the way if they set it up right, it could be more impactful for Fletcher the way he'll win it if they do it right. We don't know if we have confidence, but like they could make it. We'll see. But he's going to win it soon. I thought, like y'all said, they did the best they could in that moment because, and I just think like in that spot it worked.
Yeah, we'll just have to see.
Build a star, Brandon. This is AEW All In. This is their WrestleMania. Use that match to build a star and not prop up a 56-year-old person who can barely move.
I think that was the original plan too. And you also got to gotta give them a benefit of the doubt is that they were putting this happened on Friday. 10 hours before the show, they found out about Adam Cole, and they had to think of something quick. And like the original plan was probably to make the star Fletcher, and their plan fell through because of the injury.
To keep your press credential at this point, like the stuff you are spewing is not logical at all. Were you Team Goldberg win his final match? And
no.
You're just justifying bad behavior. All you're doing is justify. Like, I can see why. Well, I can see a lot of things, but what we did was we put up over a 56-year-old in his 3rd match. Meanwhile, we have a promotion where Ricochet, Swerve, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega don't have titles, but Dustin Rhodes has 3, and you're justifying this.
Well, I say he still has 1 because those other 2 are on a different promotion, but
he's got 3 of their titles.
He's got 1 AEW title.
Do you feel better about that? He has more titles than Ricochet does. Ricochet is doing some of his best work in his career, and Dustin Rhodes is one of your champions.
And Ricochet was, and then now he's. But why wasn't Ricochet? I would have been okay. Why wasn't Ricochet in this match? If Ricochet was in this match, then I would have been more okay with Fletcher or Ricochet winning. But with the characters you had in there, it's Fletcher or Dustin. If Fletcher wins, that's what I thought should have happened, and that's what I thought was going to win. But you can't do Sammy, and you definitely can't do Daniel Garcia. But I just gotta say, they didn't have much time to plan it, and because they could have taken Ricochet out of the gauntlet and put him in this, and I think that would have been the better idea, but they didn't.
You could have made a killer 4-way. You could have even put MJF in there or something. Put MJF and Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher and Ricochet in there. You could have just had this banger match.
They didn't do that.
But you're the one who's justifying it. You're like, well, I can see why they did it. They did the emotional response. Just call it as bad booking. That's all it is. It's bad booking.
I'm not justifying the
bad
match.
Booking, Dirt Sheet. Bad booking.
I didn't say it was great booking.
Instead of apologizing for them, so you can keep your free $10 hot dog next time they're in Arlington or something. Come on.
I never said it was good booking. I said it was a cool moment.
Or a good hot dog. He didn't even say it was a good hot dog, Biggs.
It wasn't a good hot dog. They didn't have the nacho cheese machine on.
Oh, man. Well, hey, I think there's something that we can all agree on, guys. And this next match was
the match of the weekend.
Incredible.
The best match of the weekend.
This is where me and Diggs are going to agree, though.
Yeah.
Y'all may disagree.
Oh, I already know where they're going to agree, and they're going to say that it was overbooked. There was too many false finishes. I know exactly where they're going with that.
It's still the match of the weekend.
It was that one, and I said something to y'all in the chat. That one sequence was the best sequence of tag team wrestling I've ever seen in my life. There was about
the 32 no cells. Is that the one we're talking about? The 32 no cells?
The moves, the combos, like back and forth, like just the fluid. That was so fluid, like between the two teams. Like it was, I don't know. It was probably about 1 or 2 minutes of just back and forth, like just move after move after move, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I agree. Sometimes there's too much, but like in this kind of match, it's either too much or not enough. It's hard to get that middle. But I like that a little bit because back in the day is like, hey, hit his finisher, he's done 1, 2, 3. I know it's going to be like, at least now they sell so much, you just don't know when they're not going to kick out to that point. I mean,
the super kick has become the Hulk Hogan leg drop.
But if it's this kind of match, I'm okay with that. Like this was a great match, and sometimes in these kind of matches, I just want them to last forever. So the kickouts, I was okay with. Just keep kicking out because that means I get to see more great wrestling. And anytime Will Ospreay's in the ring, it's going to be a great wrestling match. You put him with Swerve and the Young Bucks, man, and then got the storylines with this. Now you got the Young Bucks coming out. I don't know if you guys have watched Dynamite yet, but it's going to be funny. Like killed their no pyro. They're now like the Nick and Matt again. No more Nicholas, and and now of course they're back with John Callis, like I mentioned. But man, I'm happy for the change. I like them as the EVPs. That was good for a while, but it kind of gotten where it was kind of stale. So I'm intrigued on how they're gonna go with this new path, and if they will for sure lose that title, or they're gonna go back and get it somehow, get their power back. So we'll see how it goes. But this match, guys, match of the night, match of the weekend, just incredible. Again, I think Ospreay, 99% of the time when he's in a match, it's my favorite match of the card. And when you put him with these other three guys, man, just incredible.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily mind a guy kicking out of a finisher, but I feel like, and again, I know it's times have changed, but man, like there's like 8 super kicks and not one person even slowed down a hair. I mean, I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, I think it's kind of become like the, like I said, like the Hogan leg drop, like that used to be like almost a finishing move. And now it's just a joke. And I know that happens, but man, you just can't, I don't know. I just have a hard time. That's the only thing I have a hard time with AEW is that sometimes it's like, and it's like major moves that just kind of go, oh yeah, okay, cool. I'm going to, I don't know, but that's just me. I like the string, like the chain of it itself was really cool to watch all of it go. I'm just not a big fan of like no reaction at all when you just got your teeth kicked in. But
yeah, I mean, I really like this match, but I do get but I mean, AEW's been doing that stuff since the beginning, so like we expect it. Like it wasn't nothing new. Like that's what they do in their big matches. So I really enjoy this match. I was because each one you're like you think it's over and then they kick out, so you're like, oh, I mean I think this is where I was like, this is where you get the no cheering in the press box goes out the window because the whole press box along with the whole stadium just buzzing. I mean everybody in the crowd was just on, like I said, they were on fire the whole show. This was the match where everybody just the whole time was just, I mean it was loud, and I like I said, I don't think it came across on TV, but in the place it was deafening. And the other thing that before the match we had, the entrances were great. I mean, Ospreay had his, then Swerve, JoJo singing with the Fireflies. That caught me off guard, and I thought, I know her and Swerve are really good friends, but she still has that WWE relationship. So, but it was cool to see her. And then the Bucks had their ridiculous founding fathers ship gimmick. And, but yeah, I really enjoyed this match, and I was glad to see Swerve and Ospreay win. And now Ospreay, he's going to be gone a while too. That happened later in the show, but he's going to be written off for a while. Brett, you said, I know, and Kyle, I think y'all said y'all watched Dynamite last night. What they got going for Swerve next, I'm intrigued. Inject that into my veins. I like that feud.
So listen, first off, the Bucks entrance took forever. It was the longest entrance.
That's you that called it, though, Kyle. You said, wait, where's the Bucks entrance going? And then they all of a sudden took off to the side stage. And
dude, it was ridiculously long. But the match, yes, match of the week. It was phenomenal. I had my phone down other than when I picked it up to text y'all real quick about something I had seen, then put it right back down. Like it was awesome. And Jeremy, I get what you're saying. Like it's a spot fest. AEW is a spot fest. It's where the best wrestle. It's the most athletic, I think. I don't. Yes, they're the best wrestlers, sure, but it's spot after spot, like spamming finishers almost on 2K. You get your finishers built up and just spam finishers, boom, 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 right after another. But it's entertaining. Like I think that's when you watch AEW, that's what you expect. Like you're expecting that. That's what you're going into it. You're not going into it expecting, a technical wrestling match that's going to be, all that. You're expecting spots and you're going to expect kickouts. But boy, these false finishes were it didn't ruin the match, but every time it happened, I'm just like, come on. And like at the end of that chain, a Canadian destroyer popped up, no sell, boom. Like a Canadian destroyer, which used to be back in the days, a pile driver, you're done. Like you're out for weeks. Now you're hitting Canadian destroyers, and we'll get to it later on. You can hit 3 times your finisher in a row and still kick out. Like it's different if it happens every once in a while, right? Like maybe one of the matches on the pay-per-view has all these false finishes in it, but AEW does it in every single match, and it is so overdone, and it's just to this point it's annoying. Like it doesn't ruin the match for me, but it's just like I just get to the end of it and I'm just like, this could have ended 10 finishers ago and I would still be just as satisfied. I just think they overdo it with the false finishes, and that is my critique on this match. Other than that, absolutely phenomenal.
It does ruin the match though, because we've had the blessing of getting to watch the Omega Okada build their NJPW stuff, which I didn't watch at the time because I didn't watch that stuff. And you could watch the psychology in those matches, and you get one finisher kick out. Like you can have your one thing in those big 45-minute matches where you get out of that and like, okay, and then the next one wins. So this is what keeps these matches from, in my eyes, being 5-star, 6-star, 7-star matches, because you do have so many false finishes. So I kind of cap them at 4.5 star matches, which for them is probably a disappointment, and I'm sure people would fight me on the internet saying, how can you say that's not a 5-star match? Well, that's how you can say it's not a 5-star match, because you got 10 finishers in this match, which make no sense. I mean, at some point, if Will Ospreay loses to a buckshot lariat or something, it's just going to be like, what happened? Because he has to be able to kick out of 8 finishers to finally put him out of his misery because of this. So I feel like when you do that and you create this conundrum of overbooking, it creates a problem. And now that you have basically Will Ospreay as the I can kick out of 7 finishers type of mentality, it's just going to make beating him harder and harder and harder, when the match could have maintained the quality without that. And it could have made, in my eyes, been elevated because of that. But what was it? There was like the triple, a triple finisher at some point, and he still kicked out. I mean, you got to be saved at that point. You can't be kicked out. You got to be saved, and that just wasn't happening. So for me, it does ruin the match, Big Goose, because of that non-believability factor.
You brought up a good point too that I didn't think about. That, and this is why we're tag teaming, because you're right. Like, okay, he kicked out of all this. Well, then in the next match, you can't have any of those kick out, or you can't have any of them lose to a simple finisher. Like they're going to have to get hit with multiple. You're going to have to up the bar every single time or it's not believable. So why do you have all these kickouts in these matches? Because now every match is like that, and they all end the same way with all these false finishes. And I get what you're saying, Brett. Like, it's unpredictable. You don't know when the finish is going to happen. True, but you can also do that when a finisher finishes the match. Like they hit their finish, that should end the match.
But that's why they'd be more predictable, because then you're like, up, it's over. But I think that's why
don't hit the finisher that early in the match.
Well,
hit it
but I think
in the match.
I think to Dig's point, you can do that if you have the save, right? Like it's one thing if like you hit a Canadian destroyer and then your partner comes in and saves you from getting pinned. That's more believable than I know sold it and now I'm going to give you the hidden blade and or I think that's the hard part. And like you said, I think at some point it's going to have to be a 2-hour match because they're going to have to kick out of the 52 finishers because last time they kicked out of 51 and you ruin the product a little bit with the overdoing of it. And like you can get all those moves in and make it where you still have the believability, right? Like you get kicked in the face, at least give me a stagger before you come back and waylay him with something. Like at least let me know that you felt somebody kick you in the teeth. That's my only thing. I thought the fluidity was amazing. Like I thought as far as the motion, and I know that's their thing and I'm okay with that. I just think there has to be a limit, almost like the Vince McMahon unwritten rule that was a written rule of, each tag team only gets one save in a match, right? You can't do it twice. Or, there was those unwritten written rules that were there. You kind of have to have that a little bit so that you don't get into this situation where you're 22 finishes in and somebody's still not down. And
yeah, I think the match depends on the match. Like I was fine with it more because I was just enjoying this match overall, which made it a little more bearable. But if it was a match where I wasn't as entertained, then it probably would have annoyed me a little more with the false finishes. But because of this match, I was enjoying it. I didn't want it to end. I wanted them to go all night. So I think that's why if it had been a different match and I wasn't as entertained by it, then I might not have.
I loved it too, Brett. And I could have watched them wrestle for 5 more hours. Just don't go for pins. Like if you're going to hit these finishes, then like lay there for at least, or something like that. Like lay there for a few seconds, and then maybe crawl over and try to go for the pin.
They could roll out the ring or something.
Or something. Like you don't have to keep pinning and pinning. You can continue the match for sure, because I could see them wrestle all night, but then stop pinning all the time.
I think it's the pace of the match too, guys, because I think, WWE does tend to have those where they roll out of the ring and you have that lull, where AEW is more that fast pace. They don't have a lot of those lulls really in matches. There's just not a lot of that whenever there's two or more guys in the ring. They're going at it back and forth, and there's just not that, like we're in WWE, they get smart where they say, oh, they're smart, they rolled out of the ring. They don't do that a lot in AEW, it doesn't seem like to me.
And when they do, they flip over, they tope going hero, but or they do a moonsault off the top and to the outside. But also though, see, the one thing though in AEW, one of the fun, especially being in person, one of the fun parts of being in the arena is the 1, 2, 2 over and over. That gets the crowd going.
Yeah, for all 1,100 of them at the ballroom.
We had about 27,000 the other night.
That was at a pay-per-view, but Dynamite 1,100 like that.
I was at the collision there. Now we had about 1,100. So, and that's why I got a floor seat.
It's one thing I'll kind of disagree on some with y'all about was the spot that everybody's talking about, the Canadian destroyer, hidden blade kind of a thing. To me, it made sense because when you hit a Canadian destroyer, you land standing up, and then they hit the rope and it had one more momentum thing. So to me, that was believable before they went all out, and I believe that was that's something we're going to highlight for a long time as one of the best just streaky things in a while. I actually believed it and liked it, but the 15 mega finishes, yeah, I can do without that.
Well, they also going to help the prop market because they said it's like, what's the over under of EVP triggers? 8.5. It's like so they got to balance that out.
Jeez. Hey, there's the over under now is going to be 0 because they can't call it the EVP trigger anymore. They're going to have to go with a new name.
All right, back to BT trigger.
Yeah, why didn't? Then that's what confused me last night too. When they're like,
I didn't know what to
"Rose,"
call
I'm
it.
like, just call it the BTE.
I guess because they're not the elite anymore. Really, either is not really. It could be the Don Callis trigger or something.
No, they're still the elite, but
Well, I mean, there's not. They don't really have that group anymore, I guess. So, all right. Any final thoughts on this one? As we kind of everybody's match of the night, right? I mean,
match of the weekend.
Match of the weekend, yeah, of course. If it was the match of this pay per view, then it's obviously the match of the weekend for the best card, I would think. So, all right. Then we bounce into our
just to be a jerk. Just to be a jerk, I'm going to say I think because of that, I think Takeshita and Bandito was probably technically a better match because it didn't have the 20 false finishes and it was a high quality match. So I'm just saying.
I did hear that was good, but there was no way to watch. How'd you watch it?
Through the same mechanisms you watch your other stuff.
It never showed. We couldn't find them. We couldn't
you
find
work on that, sir. That's a Brett issue. That's an off market issue. We got to talk about that later.
I was on vacation, so
it didn't even come on because it doesn't even. It's not even a pay per view. It comes on like their whatever honor club thing or whatever. And I didn't. But also, I just didn't. I was like, I'm not going to this one because the only match I cared about going in would have been Thunder Rosa and Athena, which I heard was a good one too. But
the next match on the card.
Speaking of Athena.
What do you have to follow that with? You got the women's casino gauntlet match of 500 women or however many there were. Kyle went to sleep during this match, it looks like. That was the main thing. I was fine with this. I like showcasing the women. I like having them on the card. I lost track of who was in this match. Because there were so many women that aren't on TV a whole lot. I mean, Athena's on ROH. I don't really watch ROH. I know she is because from WWE, and I love her move. Another one of my favorite finishers. But you had Statlander and Bane to start, which I liked having them going at it at the beginning, and then, but you had some wrestlers that, and I like Julia Hart and Sky Blue. That was weird because it's like, hey, so now you just bring your whole team down here, and you get. Because there's no no disqualification, right? You can have extra help. Kyle loved that part, I'm sure.
Sky Blue never entered the match, but she was in the match. Make it make sense.
Well, like Anna Jay and Harley Cameron, she came. They weren't in it either.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I get it, but I don't. So I didn't know who was in the match, who wasn't. I didn't know Sky Blue wasn't because they made a point. She came out with her, and they said that she wasn't in the match, and then she somehow kept ending up in the match. And then there was all these women outside the match and people kept coming in. And I was like, who is this person? Okay. Where'd they go? It was very confusing. Even more confusing than the men because they did have so many. I don't know. Did y'all count how many they had entered? I don't remember.
Let's see
how many there was, but there was a ton. I feel like
4, 5, 6,
15, I think
8, 9, 10.
So
11.
as the guy that didn't watch anything but the highlights, it didn't show up on any highlights that I saw, which is probably not a great sign, right? As I was perusing the next day through the Twitter feed and some of those things, and even as the matches were going on, there was very little, if any, mentioned about it, right? I mean, and that probably is a good sign of how well or obviously not well it went, right? Is when you don't get the buzz on X, I guess I should say. Sorry,
it's even harder to follow in arena because, especially when they go to that other side of the ring, because they fall on the opposite side of the hard camera, and so the press box is on hard camera side. Oh no, it's on the opposite side too. So and they fall on the hard camera side, so it's hard to see what's going on over there.
I couldn't keep track, and it was too many. I thought. To have in the match, but good for Athena. I think. I mean, how long has she had the ROH? Is it 400 and something days?
She's almost to 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah, 900. No, she made that a point at the press conference. She was also great in the press conference too. She's really, and she's one of those ones where it took me a while. I was like, wait, what was her? I got to a point where I for a second forgot her WWE name, which is how good she is as Athena, and then I remembered it. But a lot of the AEW wrestlers, you still relate them to their WWE name.
Well,
her, I think of her as Athena.
Yeah, she didn't get used as really that well in WWE. Really,
Yeah.
Well, and Ember Moon sounds like a vampire movie name anyway, right? Like,
and that was really
it was
that was a hometown win for her because she's from Garland. She went to Lakeview Centennial, so she's right down. That was home area win for her. So
I'm sure Diggs has a problem with that because he doesn't like the hometown.
Do because I mean, name one thing that didn't go just in this whole card that wasn't either a hometown thing or the good guy pop or even the popular bad guy pop. Everything happened on this card. Kind of, you got what you kind of expected, which at some point you got to have that unbelievable factor, like, oh, this is a surprise, or oh, this is a surprise. And pretty much everything down the line was kind of as you could have predicted it.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Bane win, but
yeah.
Well, the thing though, like, think about it. When the problem, nobody watches ROH. We just talked about it. We couldn't find it, right? And it's on an app, whatever. But now you have Dustin Rhodes with your AEW TNT Championship holding 2 Ring of Honor titles. You have Athena, who's a Ring of Honor champion, now has a contract for an AEW championship. So my question would be, why don't you have Athena at least on this main roster, on the AEW roster? Why are you tucking her away at ROH where nobody's watching her? Like, and then why would you, on a big show like this, I get it, hometown pop, awesome, but you're just gonna feed her to Tony Storm? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me why, if you're gonna have these, stop. ROH is a different brand. ROH is its own thing. Have ROH over here. Stop having ROH filter into AEW and then have AEW storylines. If you're going to have them on AEW, put them on AEW.
Well, they could do the same thing as NXT. Basically, ROH could be the NXT. Like, that's basically what should be happening, right? That you put them over. They don't have a network to put them on. They don't have anywhere to put them, so you can't treat them like an NXT. Yeah, but I mean, it could be where they train them up and you have your younger talents over there, and build them there.
And you can even have some bigger talents over there. Like, I mean, you can have some bigger names that can go down there, and just like WWE does, sending people down to NXT, bigger names, that you can do that, but it shouldn't be the other way around. You shouldn't have the stars on ROH and moonlighting them on AEW. It should be the other way around.
Well, they bring them on TV so they can waltz around in the 18,000 title belts.
Yeah,
because
that looks awesome.
Yeah, because everyone's got to have a title. You got a title.
Sure. Everybody's got to have titles, and then some got to have 20.
Yeah. But I think this was a solid. I got confused with the match itself. I was fine with. I agree with Kyle though. I thought they've got to get, like, you can't just have random people walking down, and like, there's got to be a ref around the ring saying, all right, you have to go back to the locker room, or, otherwise it's like, hey, I'll just get me a big faction and bring like 10 people into the match and we'll just eliminate everybody and then I'll win. Like, what's to keep that from happening? So I think what we've all decided is the gauntlet match itself needs some more concrete rules across. Like, we need some rules here.
Yeah,
it needs a revamping. The gauntlet match needs I love the concept. It just needs a revamping.
Brandon, you were muted. What were you saying?
I was saying, but like, you couldn't really eliminate. It's not battle royal, so you couldn't really eliminate anybody. Like,
well, but you take them all out where they are.
Yeah,
I mean, if you have enough people, just take everybody else out, and then you've just pin whoever's left. Yeah. All right.
Got to hit them with 15 finishers first, though.
Yeah. Don't forget that. Next match, for me, the best thing about this match was the end after the match. You had the triple threat tag team world title match. You had the Patriarchy, Hurt Syndicate, and Jet Speed.
We heard
why the Jet Speed was in this match. I still have no clue. I don't care about them. I'm sorry. I'm maybe the only one that doesn't care.
Nobody cares about Spitball.
I mean, the whole, they obviously Hurt Syndicate retained. Patriarchy, they took out the Patriarch is gone, and are they going to call him the Matriarchy now? From Dynamite, it looks like Mama Wayne Mother Wayne's going to take over. It looks like, and have her boys. It's kind of a strange, interesting thing, but it's different. We'll see how it works. But Christian Cage maybe going to be gone for a while. Maybe we're going to finally get the Cope and Cage reunion tour. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, and he also announced he's now going back to rated R Adam Copeland. No more Cope. And then also, I
thought the Edge name expired. Why doesn't he just go back to Edge? I thought that WWE didn't extend that. I thought I read some where they let that expire.
I'm not sure about that.
If he's going to keep changing the name, at least go back to Edge. It was,
I'm glad Copa's gone, but the after part was definitely better. And then he says, he grabs the mic and says, "Christian, go find yourself." Like, so that was kind of cool, because playing back to what Christian said to him when he first came, and so that was, it was a cool moment. And now they set the stipulation last night on Dynamite that he can't go after FTR, but he can go after Stokely, and he did last night. So we'll see what hoops they make him go through to get FTR back, because they're going to make him go through some crazy gauntlets and everything to finally get a shot at FTR. So we'll see.
And by then maybe Christian finds himself.
Yeah, that tag team. Yeah,
they don't need to rush this. Like, they don't need to rush the Edge and Copeland and Christian reunion. Just you don't have to. It's there. It's there. You don't need to rush it. Tony has a problem of prematurely getting to the end.
Let it bake.
Let it cook. Let it cook. There you go. But no, the match itself meant absolutely nothing. The match was a squash. It was completely pointless. The whole angle was the end of the match. And I know we talked about earlier, Christian's about to get his head bashed in, and Edge has to come out and run to one side of the stage, do his thing, and then stop in the middle of the ramp, hit his pyro, and then come down. But what I appreciate, and this, I don't think this has anything to do with AEW. I'm putting this 100% on Adam Copeland. He came out on Dynamite and said, I wasn't out there to save Christian. I didn't care about him. So that's why he's going out there doing his pyro. He's not trying to save Christian. So he wasn't running down there to save him. He's coming down there for FTR. So he could take his time getting to FTR. He doesn't care about Christian. So that made it, he at least explained it and made it make sense. Did it still look ridiculous? Absolutely. About as ridiculous as Penta doing his Penta walk as he's walking down the stage.
They hammered Penta on the pimp walk, so you got to hammer Cope for doing that.
Yeah,
the machine guns across the stage.
He came out and explained why he did it, and it made sense. So I can appreciate that. But yeah, the match was absolutely pointless. But they don't need to rush this with Cope and Christian. Let it cook. Let Christian find himself, and let Copeland struggle a little bit. And then when Christian returns and they get back together, it'll be a great reunion.
And Kyle, also, I don't know if you know, one thing we were missing in that show was pyro. So we had to get some pyro because we didn't have enough pyro that night. I mean,
you're right.
Our photographer, Michael, what is his first AEW show? He goes, my gosh, what's their pyro budget? Like, and he was right there by it. So it was
did you see on Dynamite, they said how much pyro they had.
Oh, I missed that.
Life. They did a little promo. I forget the number, but they put that in their little recap of All In. I'm like, my goodness.
So you think maybe we get a TLC match eventually?
Well, they probably had all that pyro saved up from the Rangers this year. They haven't hit as many bombs as they did in the years past. So they're like, we got all this extra pyro. What do we do with it? I know. Let's throw it all in.
Good point.
Maybe it was free on the side. They had a few extra pounds laying around.
Kyle, it's ironic that you said we need to let this thing cook, and you're absolutely right about this. And what did they not do in that angle? They didn't let it cook because, they immediately, almost unexpectedly but pointlessly turned Christian face real quick. They had a heel turn on him right before Edge came out. That wasn't needed. You could have easily told that story in a completely different way where Edge went after FTR, and maybe that fight accidentally helped Christian and Nick Wayne win the match or lose the match or something like that. And you could have still told the story without that the kind of the double craziness of the Edge weird saving of Christian. And why do these people just sit here? Just hit them. Like, why does the music scare people
They wanted
away?
to see the pyro, Diggs. They were enthralled by the pyrotechnics there. They wanted to see it.
I'm just disappointed in the psychology of this stuff. Like, we all sit around. AEW is the worst. We all sit around when the music hits. When you could just beat. If you're here to finish them, finish them. You know, like, oh, here they are, boom, concerto. Maybe one more while you're watching. You know, and then we get out of here. I don't like that part of AEW. They've really struggled on the psychology of telling some of these stories and making them believable. And I haven't seen Dynamite yet. I'm still trying to catch up with WWE, but I'm glad to hear that Edge, because I'm sure, or Copeland, tried to make a storyline out of that, because I know he's big into the psychology and the storytelling. So at least I think he recognized that. Like, hey, let's tell that story.
I like what someone said though. It was like, it wasn't that that Christian turned face. It said actually that Nick Wayne and them turned face because they were getting out of the abusive relationship.
Wow. And that could have been the case a few months ago. Honestly, we wouldn't have thought anything of it. But this was kind of.
Well, I mean, Christian, even like last week, Christian, like he was not nice to Nick.
No, that turn was coming. Like it was coming where Nick was going to turn on Christian.
But everyone was kind of shocked at first that Kip Sabian was a part of it. Like you could, and so everybody was kind of unsure at first, and then you could hear it because then you heard Excalibur like, oh wait, Kip Sabian's part of it too.
Yeah, I mean, I figured it was coming. It did surprise me that it happened there at All In, but I mean, they had to do something. The match was crap, so they had to do something.
Well. The next match, Kyle, we made history. Mercedes Moné has now lost in AEW. She has now lost in AEW. Kyle celebrates. And what a match it was. A great match. Enjoyed the match. Probably her best match. I mean, putting these two together was obviously was going to be a good match. But the seventh belt she tried to collect, Kyle. No good. She only has 6 now, so maybe we'll.
Darn shame, man.
I know.
She ain't tall enough to wear 7 at one time. That's the problem. She barely can hold 6.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I mean, this. They did a good job of this. This was like this. Obviously, this is their WrestleMania. AEW. You put probably your 2 best women in the ring. I mean, arguably, going at it. I wasn't sure which way they'd go. I figured they'd keep it on Toni Storm, but part of me's like, they just keep letting Moné win, and they're gonna do it again. But they finally got beat. Now, where she goes from here, it'll be interesting how they tell this story. Is she gonna spiral now and start losing belt after belt, and she goes down, and then maybe it's like a heroes try to return to greatness type deal later for her. But we'll see what they do with Toni Storm. I think this is the one thing that, like, they haven't built a lot of women in AEW. So, like, obviously Athena is going to be the next challenger. She's been in ROH buried, like Kyle said. So, like, it was Mariah May and Storm forever. They had those 2, and that was it. Well, Mariah May's gone. Now they've built up Moné. She's lost. They've got some other women, but they just haven't really, to me, done a good job of giving me a reason why they can compete with Toni Storm. It's like she's up here and there's not really anybody else. I'm interested to see where they go. Not that there's not some good quality women wrestlers in AEW. It's just they really haven't built them that way. At least anybody that I can think of right now. I mean, you guys may have some ideas.
I disagree with you, because I would personally, if I were fantasy booking, I'd book Athena after Mercedes and go back to Megan Bayne, because remember, they left that off on a small package. She beat Megan Bayne beat Toni Storm clean there, and then Toni couldn't beat Megan. She had to beat her with a small package. So to me, the most believable contender for her is Megan Bayne right now, and you could have easily pushed that through as the next thing and give us Athena with Mercedes trying to get the redemption back from their Owen Hart match where she beat her, and now she's like, I'm going to go beat her because I know I can do that. And now you have 2 solid main events in the women's world with those two pairings.
I wish I could have got that out first, Diggs, because we would have agreed on that, because we had the same thought there. So
I think the match was good. The match was excellent. I mean, it was a fun match, but the problem is you've had Mercedes essentially kill the women's division because she's been fed every single up and comer new star that you could build. You fed her to Mercedes to keep getting these wins. And Tony was wrapped up with Mariah for so long. Now, everybody that Mercedes has beat, if you try to send them to Tony, why would that be believable? If they couldn't beat Mercedes, why would we think they could beat Tony? Tony just beat Mercedes. So I get what you're saying, Diggs. Yeah, it's a big package. Okay, Tony calls it a big package. It's not a small package. Anyway, but yeah, I know it was a package roll up and all that, but I mean, she still got beat, and as dominant as Megan Bayne looks, and as dominant as she is with everybody else, she still got beat, and she still took a loss there. So I don't see her getting right back to that spot. Athena, she's an ROH talent. They're not going to have Athena beat Toni Storm. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Will it be a good match? Sure. But you're still back to the same point. Where do you go after that? Like, after Toni and Athena, then what? Who else is on the roster for Toni Storm to have a feud with? You could try to go back to Megan Bayne, sure, but we've seen it. I mean, and then Mercedes, what do you do with her? Does she start spiraling and start losing all these other titles? I hope so. I doubt it, but I hope so. But then who's next for Mercedes? She's beaten everybody. Like, I think the women's division in AEW has been tied down by two women that, I mean, or three if you want to include Mariah when she was here, but it's just there's nobody else has been built up because it's just been Mercedes and Toni and Mariah. There's nobody else that's had a chance to come up.
It's a lot of crap, Kyle. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but it's just a bad take because we just gave you a fantasy booking. We told you could have at your next thing. You could have Megan Bayne against Toni Storm. You could have Athena versus Mercedes. At the same time, you could. I mean, Willow to me is a very believable star. Chris is a believable star in certain elements. Julia Hart was on a very high trajectory. A few wins, an upset win, and to me, that is one of the perfect stories that you consistently see in wrestling is if you can't beat them with your finisher, there's more to tell. And even though she got the win, there's still more to tell because I don't believe with this booking that Toni can put away Megan Bayne. She might be able to out wrestle her or out technique her, but is she going to actually be able to beat her in a last woman standing or an I quit match or something, which can get your intrigue? Like, how is she going to beat her? And right now we don't know because Megan still has a rocket on her ship because she's not really lost in any sort of way other than to a small package. So there's still a lot you can do. And I think that and what about Britt Baker? And I don't know what Britt Baker does. Dirt Sheet might know about that, but that's a star you've got potentially waiting as a challenger to either of them.
Well, the problem is
I'm sorry, Diggs. When's the last time we've seen Britt Baker on TV?
And we're not going to see her.
And that's to your point though. To your point, you mentioned these women, Julia Hart, all these people. Where are they on TV? They're not on TV, or they're on Collision. Which again,
Julia's been and they used her big last night. That I like that new faction.
I know they used her big. Listen, I'm saying up till these past couple of weeks, she hasn't been on TV. So
they don't only put like women on for like 10 minutes a show,
and
or they put people like Queen Aminata on there.
I'm tired of.
That's my point, though.
She's my spitball.
You need to build these women up. Then put them on TV. Showcase them. Where's Serena Deeb? Where is Deonna Purrazzo? Where are these women that are very talented? They're not on TV. So yes, there are plenty of people that Toni and Mercedes can face. Where are they?
And Diggs, you've got a good booking down there. I'm intrigued by your booking, but that's not how Tony Khan's going to book it. So, I mean, that's the problem. With you got great ideas, but do you think he's actually going to do that? Absolutely not.
It is a problem, but at the same time, they're kind of a victim because I would say, in a big picture, Toni Storm is one of my, must see. When she gets on a mic, I want to watch it. Like I just across any wrestling, I'm not fast forwarding anything Tony Storm is doing. So you want to put her on every single show, and I want to see her on every single show because she is. I don't want her to go away for 2 months and pull a Cody Rhodes where you lose and then you lose the scene and you're gone for 2 months because she is such a fun character to watch. So I don't know how you can balance these things because we want more Tony and they're giving it to us.
Well,
So
maybe it's too much of her though. If maybe you if you do send her off and you give some of these other women chances to breathe, she comes back and then you've missed her that much more. I mean, right? I mean, she's taking.
I don't think Tony's the issue. I don't mind seeing Tony.
No,
that's not the issue.
I do too. But like, she does take up a lot of TV time. So like, if
she's the champ.
Right. But if she loses and she goes away for a little bit, maybe it gives some other women a chance to actually build up and then bring her back and have a title match with someone that you've built up. I don't know. Just a suggestion. I mean, she's
took her off TV for 4 months after All In last year, too. So, I mean, we got that. And they didn't do anything with it.
Well, maybe you should go apply for some booking advertising advice there.
This was the match that Tony hit a Storm Zero 3 freaking times in a row. Her finisher 3 times in a row, and Mercedes kicks out. Like
I thought Mercedes
why?
I thought was going to win after that.
But why it worked is because then she's like, okay, well, I did my normal one 3 times and it didn't work. So then I got to go to the top rope and do a super Storm Zero.
But that's ridiculous. Just do it one time. Then go up and do the avalanche. Don't hit 3 times in a row.
She also did it because Mercedes had just done the 3 Amigos.
Okay, I get it. It's AEW. Put my false finish feelings aside. I get it, but that's stupid. Like, hit it once, then go up and finish it. Why are we crazy concept? Just go do the avalanche one first and end the match. Why we gotta have 3 freaking Storm Zeros and then a 4th one off the top rope?
Storytelling.
That is not storytelling. That's spamming finishers. Playing WWE 2K is what that is.
And Mercedes got the loudest boos of the night. The only person who came close was Kevin Hart.
Okay. Oh man. All right. Well, let's move on to the next match. Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada. I was thinking that I'd seen them wrestle, but this was the first time they've ever wrestled in the United States. So it just seems like, I guess it's gone by so fast. But man, they performed. Omega, after going through what he went through, being out and having his insides cut out and all this, they really keyed into that with this story, even more than I thought was. I thought, man, this is kind of a little morbid, even that the bleeding of the out of his mouth and everything leading up to this. But they put on an incredible match. Like I felt like it was Kenny Omega from 4 or 5 years ago. I was because before Ospreay, Omega was that guy, right? He was the guy that you didn't pick your phone up, you put your phone down, that he was that guy. And it was that last night. These two put on an incredible match. I was intrigued by it all. Now I'm interested. We talked about this earlier about the titles, and Diggs, you said that they were going to unify this. Well, they're walking around with 3 belts, so we're going to see what happens with this. So as Kyle loves to have 18,000 belts, he's going to have a lot to say about this here in a minute. But that's what I'm interested in. We'll see if Omega. I'm assuming maybe he takes some time off, but we'll see. Don Callis and his ever-growing family is going to have every belt here shortly, I think.
Right, I'm going to be heel Diggsy on you, and I'm sure my colleagues are going to disagree. I didn't like the match, and it kind of reminds me, and I think I said the same thing when we had a show 18 months or so ago when you had like Seth Rollins against AJ or Seth Rollins against Shinsuke. It just didn't live up to the hype. This is a match that we have been sold as 5-6 star. We're going to get it, and this is like the match of the world. And it was not a bad match, but put up against their classics and put on this show, it did fall short for me. I would say it was a 4-star match, and it's hard to complain about a 4-star match, but we could have gotten more out of that match without the finishes and things like that. So for me, I left disappointed.
I liked the match, but it was my 4th match. I had 3 above it, on the card. The Ospreay, Tony, and then the main event that we'll get to. So this was my 4th, best match on the card. But I did enjoy it. It was it was a good card. But you said it didn't live up to what we had been sold from the previous, the ones that we didn't get to see and that we've only seen highlights of. And then, they showed the package, and we didn't get that. But these guys are aging. They're Kenny's not what he was, and Okada's not what he was. And and what they had kind of not done a whole lot with Okada. He kind of lost his fizzle until hopefully he's getting it back. And because I'm excited about what they're doing next with him too. What they teased last time, I'm not gonna run it, but and not only is he carrying around 3 belts, but when you go to the champions page, it's listed. He's listed under.
Kyle, I mentioned it a while ago, and
his mug is under all 3. They still have all 3 titles listed, and his mug under each one. So
I mentioned it a while ago, Kyle. Let us know all how you feel about the 3 belts.
You know how I feel, Brett. Don't he? I'm not even gonna get worked up about this. It is the dumbest thing. And then the fact that they got it on the website and have his picture under all 3 different ones. Why make a brand new unified belt if you're still going to continue the lineage of the Continental and International Championship? If you make a brand new belt, that lineage should end for the other 2, and you should create a brand new lineage with Okada being the champion.
Continental for the Continental Classic, though, right?
Nope. Because listen, here it gets better, Brett. Don't worry, there's more.
Okay.
Because Tony Khan said we're gonna operate under Continental Classic rules, right? He said there's gonna be no interference in these unified matches. It's Continental Classic rules. So let me ask you this: if you're still going to use Continental Classic rules, crazy idea. Let's eliminate the International Championship and just keep the Continental. Why did you make a unified title if you're going to have the same rules as a belt that the man is still carrying around? Absolutely no sense. 0 sense.
And it's a unified, what is it? The AEW unified.
It's just unified championship.
So
unifying what?
What is it? Unified?
Exactly.
Yeah, unified.
Well, that's why they have to carry it around so you can see what's being unified. You see,
and Diggs, they're going to have them duct taped together. It's going to be like a triple belt duct tape.
I wouldn't put it past them. Diggs, I will agree with you also that I didn't enjoy the match. I can appreciate the talent that was in the ring. I understand how good Omega is in the ring. I understand how good Okada is. I didn't see any of the New Japan wrestling matches, so I don't know how they were. But hearing other people talk about them, even somebody that had watched all the other matches said this was the weakest Okada Omega match. It was the worst one of the 5 or however many they've had. So to Brandon's point, to all y'all's points, that yes, they're older, they're aging. It's not going to be the same, but this could have probably let off the show, because instead of having 3 championship matches back to back to back, let's spread them out. Have Omega and Okada at the start of the show. Have Tony and Mercedes in the middle. End it with the Texas Death match.
So Kyle, let me ask you this: do you think this match was and how we feel about it is more of just the other matches on the card just made it look? I mean, if this match is on a different card, you stick this on Saturday Night Main Event, then we love it. But now that it's on a card with all these, they put the bar so high on some of these matches that it makes us let down. Now we want all the matches to live up to what the top.
Well,
level.
think about the timing of it too. And Brandon was there. We were watching it from home, but this match went on around 7 o'clock, almost 7:15. So that's a late in the day. You've already been sitting there 4.5, 5 hours, and then you have to watch this match, which they're storytellers. So it builds up. So it took a while to get going. And after you've been sitting there and you've seen all the like you said, you've seen all the matches you've seen. I think it's okay on the card. I think where it was on the card is bad. Have it start earlier in the show. So I think people are more into it, because by the time that it got to it, it's just, you've been run down with wrestling all day long. You can't really appreciate what's in front of you. I don't think it was a bad match. I just didn't enjoy it.
AEW apologist Brandon up here is making excuses again, talking about how aging they are. And the thing that popped in my head when you talked about that was, how great was Shawn Michaels Undertaker WrestleMania 25? Those are probably 10 years older than these two guys at that point, and they put on a classic after they put on classics. You can book it, you can write it, you can do it to where you could have elevated the match. So it's just disappointing.
Brandon, you got a rebuttal?
I don't think we'd ever got to the point of this where I'm the AEW apologist. Like Diggs has always been the AEW apologist.
The table,
guys. This is giving me a little bit of Athens vibes at a baseball game. A little bit here, where everybody, like Brandon's just getting picked on here. I don't know. It's bringing back some memories here. I'm feeling for you, Brandon. I'm.
Well, Athens is DFW's own, so we'll just leave it at
here
that.
we go. Oh my god!
So the
That's
next
good.
match, I think it was a team death match, right? Yeah, or not a team death match. I'm Call of Duty. I'm with you, Brandon.
Brandon, they went off. You're scaring all my guys off, Professor.
It's
I
almost
ain't going
football
away.
season.
Me and Professor tag team for tonight. I ain't going away.
Okay.
Henderson County debates. We got to set our own storylines up, because I remember seeing in the group chats, we got the Beast from the East coming up. We're planning these things.
We do have the Beast from the East coming up.
Long-term booking.
I don't know. Let's talk about the main event. Let's because we're about to be at a 6-hour show here.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, it's an all-in show.
It's not. We got work tomorrow.
I don't. Who's talking?
I do. So
okay.
I actually don't really either. I got to do it Saturday now. I got Texas Exes Saturday. So
again, I do. So
all right. Well, it's a good thing in the main event time, KO, as we have John Moxley, Hangman Adam Page, world title, Texas death match, and goodness gracious was there blood, which we knew. It's a Moxley match, right? It's going to have a lot of blood, but goodness, we had a little bit of everything. We had a nail table, we had some barbed wire tables. No Diggs and Hubbard special on fire barbed wire tables. There were barbed wire tables, but they weren't lit on fire, so we didn't have that. But we had glass. We had people getting slammed on chairs back to back. Oh, I mean, it made me
fork slow-mo video.
The fork, yeah, we had a forking going on.
Dude, if you see it in slow-mo, I mean, it goes in, comes out, and blood
I mean,
it was gross. I was like, oh.
we had interference from everybody. We had a Bryan Danielson return for some payback, which that was good pop as always. What was the pop like for? I mean, it may have been expected, Brandon. What was the pop like for him and even the Darby?
Well, so because they showed the Darby video, and so that's when you expect Darby to come, and then all of a sudden, Daniel sits in the ring with the mask doing the yes, it was so loud, the yes chants, man. It was just, and then you realize Daniel throws the mask off and he does the running knee, and the place is going nuts. Yes, yes, yes. And then all of a sudden you see Darby flying from the sky, I knew someone was coming from the sky because I had a little insider information because I saw the aerial guys in the press box before the game getting all their working on the rip cords and stuff. But I was thinking it might be Sting coming from the sky. So
they didn't do a very good job, and I don't know if you guys agree from watching it at home. Like they showed it very little person. It didn't show they would show it and then they'd go back to the match. Then they would show it and then go back to the match. It's it wasn't like you got to see him.
Well, because it took a while for him to get
you didn't get to really see him come down all the way. That by the time they really showed him, he was almost down to the ring.
It was hard to follow in the arena too. But
yeah, so but I thought it was. I mean, I was hoping that this spot was going to go to Osprey, but I was hoping that he would get this. But I'm happy for Hangman. His character. If you think about what all the character work he's done has been kind of up and down. They brought his old theme back, which I love, and I'm glad they did. Of course, it was Texas. He's got that cowboy thing, so of course that's an extra pop for him there. But this match was great. I thought it had everything that I expected and more, and we got to see the belt. I thought it was a good touch that they didn't touch the title belt. It still had Danielson plates on it, so the whole time it never got. They just put it in the briefcase and left it. So I'm interested to see now. You had the Death Riders lose at the beginning of the show. You had Moxley lose. Where do they go with them from here? Is there inner turmoil there? Are they?
Oh, Wheeler Yuta is gonna get buried. They're gonna kill him. He's been kind of the fall guy off and on, right? When things don't go well, and I'm pretty sure that he's gonna disappear for about 6 months.
You mean Chewbacca? Because that's what he looks like now. I mean, goodness gracious, he looks just like Chewbacca. I'm interested in those storylines there. We'll see where they go with Hangman. You got MJF lurking. I mean, will he go after him already, or will he wait? I don't know. We'll see. There's lots of stories now that this kind of ends this whole. We've been calling for it for a while. When the Death Riders first came out, it was like, ooh, this is cool. Then it was like, ooh, is Shane McMahon coming? We were all excited. We were back on our shows, and then it just like the same old. So now it's kind of into this arc of the story. Where are they going to go? I'm kind of interested to see what they do here. But I mean, I enjoyed this match. It was brutal. I loved it. I mean, it was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. We knew it was going to be an overbooked mess, and we probably actually got less of what we got the Death Riders and we got Danielson and Darby, but probably thought we were going to give you more. Like I thought there would be even more than there might have been, but then we had the touching finish though with Swerve, because Swerve giving him the chain that Hangman had gave him on Thursday, and he used that chain to choke Moxley out. So that was very fitting, and I was surprised to see Moxley on Dynamite last night, like in a match. I thought he would be gone for a while.
Yeah. It's crazy. You have a Texas death match and then you can run it back 4 days later. Wild.
That didn't make no sense to me, but to each their own. But I mean, Moxley, he likes to work, but I thought he probably shouldn't have been there last night.
Sorry. Yes, that's dumb. Like if you have a Texas death match, Hangman could be there. Like him opening the show and doing everything he did, that's fine because he was limping around at the start.
Being there is one thing. Having a match is another.
And not only having a match.
Well, Hangman had a match too.
No, I know. They were in the same match. Yeah. You're having a match against the same person you just had a death match against.
Yeah.
What's the point in having a death match?
Who's it? Briscoe and Hobbs. It didn't make no sense.
That's stupid because AEW can't follow up on a pay-per-view to save their life. They are the worst about it. They have a great show like All In, and then they crap the bed on Wednesday night. Anyway, that's a different story for a different day. But this Texas death match, I think going into it, I thought Darby was going to be the one to kind of put Hangman over the edge because the last time we saw Darby, Moxley was throwing him down a flight of stairs. So I figured Darby would come back, cost them the match, and Hangman wins the title. Darby had little to nothing to do with this match. He had the cool drop down, but really was an irrelevant part of the match. Had he not been there, the match would have been the same. These spots were absolutely brutal. You're 2 minutes into the match and a dude is getting stabbed in the head with a fork. That's AEW for you, baby. That's AEW football, But it was brutal. The one that made me cringe the most was Mox when he took that spot on the chairs that were back like that. That made me cringe more than anything else in the match.
Well, Kyle, I don't really want to run button for you, but Ricky and Ethan had that same spot in their match. And so, I saw that twice in 1 week, and I was like, you never see that.
That is brutal.
But that's it's smart, but you never see that.
Why?
They're normally facing.
Yeah. I know. Why would you want to put yourself anyway? No. The dragging him through the glass, all of it was just extremely brutal, but that's what it should have been. Like, that's what it needed to be. And then everybody coming in at the end, there was no more perfect way to end the match than Swerve. Like, looking back at it now and seeing how it all finished, it was played out perfectly. Like, Darby wouldn't have fit in that situation. Swerve was the right guy to hand over the chain and have Hangman choke him out the same way Swerve choked Hangman out in their death match. So, I mean, the storytelling there was beautiful. It was very well done. But as great as that was, the follow-up on Wednesday absolutely sucked.
Yeah, shout out to them because the storytelling was fantastic. It really almost kind of calls us back to Roman Reigns and Cody, from when they got it was overbooked, but it was beautiful at the same time, and I got those vibes from this as well. I'm actually I don't like that kind of violence in matches. When I'm watching a match cringing and covering my there are some things that I think are just not wrestling at that point, and that kind of crossed the line a couple of times. To me, Hangman and Swerve told a brutal match story a little bit better than this. This was just them trying to one up each other. So I didn't like the extreme violence. I'm sure some people love that kind of stuff. I would have preferred it to be brutal but not extreme. But that's just me.
It was definitely cringy at spots.
And I think I think the cool thing too with the Swerve save is like there's still the idea, like, did he do that for himself? Is that a way to make amends? Like, you can run with that a couple of different ways. Like, you kind of left it open where, yeah, he helped that out, but then you also know, well, since he won the match earlier, he can still challenge for the title, right? So, like, was that a selfish move, right? Was that, you know what I mean? So I think you can play those angles, and I thought it was too brutal. Like, I think you can do some of it, but it almost felt excessive. Like, I think it's that, but again, that's the AEW thing in some ways, is the excessivity of some of that. But I thought you could probably pull a couple of those back and still get the same effect, and man, I think the second, one of the two nails one on that bed of nails was, I'm like, I don't know how you got off that. I'm not sure how you weren't impaled on it. If you land on 50 nails, it's not so bad, but I think it was the headshot or whatever. It was like, it looked like about 5 nails, and I don't know how to,
Jeremy,
I felt like
you should go
back to pull him off.
You should go back and watch a previous pay-per-view of Moxley landing on some nails and how they nearly ripped his skin off his back. Not the first time he's done that.
Yeah, and that was crazy. When the spike thing got stuck in his back.
There was the same bed of nails. Oh no, it was Spike. You're right.
Spike when he got hit because it was like stuck in his back, and it was just like
it was ripping the skin off his back. It was disgusting.
And Jeremy, the first thing you mentioned, Hangman mentioned that in the press conference. He's like, I don't know if he did it for me, for the company, or himself. And then he also mentioned in his promo last night. So he had that. They did play off of that. And they also mentioned last night when Swerve was coming to the ring for a different segment that he could challenge for the title now. But it looks like he's going for a different title currently, and or 3 titles. And then it's also funny. So went to the show with 2 other people. Like wasn't sitting by either of them, but we all rode together and stuff, and then we were together in the press conference stuff. And one of them watches AEW all the time, but the other had never watched AEW before. He was a WWE guy. He watches WWE. So he was like he wasn't expecting all he was like, and he's the photographer, so he was the closest of all of us. He's right there by ringside taking the pictures. He got some cool pictures. I didn't run any of them because I was like, I'm not putting this on our website or in the paper of the Moxley and Hangman's bloody faces, but I have them on my computer. But he's like, I was not expecting that.
It's a little different. But man, what a weekend, guys. I mean, just an incredible weekend. I mean, you can tell this show a little longer than normal, but thanks for everyone for tuning in tonight. Guys, any final thoughts? We got SummerSlam coming up. I guess that's kind of the next thing for us, really. And final thoughts of the weekend.
It was fun but long. I mean, I think I watched almost 30 hours of wrestling in 5 days. So, and about 16 of it were live in person. So it was a lot, but it was fun. And but yeah, I'm glad, like I said, not really any wrestling. We got the Slammiversary, which I'll have on in UFC, but then nothing really big till SummerSlam. So
it was too much wrestling, man. I think I wish WWE would stop being so petty and just let AEW have their weekend.
And they're doing it again on the Forbidden Door week.
I know. They're doing Heat Wave the same. I get it, and it's dumb. Like, just let them have their own thing. Like, we don't need 30 hours of wrestling and 5. You know, that's dumb. I think there's too much wrestling going on right now, and just let it space out a little bit, let it breathe, and we can all enjoy it more. That's my final thought. Too much wrestling.
Yeah, I think you can't say they're not our competition and then go out of your way to actively stomp on there, right? Like, you can't have it both ways. I didn't get to watch everything, but I still felt like it was a lot. And then I feel like I had to think for a minute. Wait, what match did come after that one? You know, it just felt like it was just the whole weekend felt hot and heavy. And I feel like that again tonight. I feel like it's like taking a drink from a fire hose, right? Like, it was just so much. And so it is kind of weird to have a lull again until SummerSlam. But overall, I thought a lot of really good matches, and I thought Evolution, you know, for as little as it was publicized, held its own very well. You know, for the cast off that it seemed to be given as, I thought it really shone well.
You know, it's kind of ironic because, you know, I think AEW, or the way WWE kind of positions it, is we're going to compete NXT against it because WWE is so much stronger than that. But at the same time, we had NXT running a show in a 700 seat center stage stadium. Meanwhile, AEW is running 27,000. And I know AEW's got some attendance issues, and we can definitely talk about that on a different show. But we saw stars. We saw legitimate, you know, top tier stars with AEW. Hangman, Swerve. I mean, how I was watching this. I just keep thinking, how did WWE screw that up? Like, how did they just let that guy go and not realize that? I'm starting to feel the same way about Ricochet as well, because I think Ricochet as a heel is just so fun right now. AEW's got stars on the level of WWE, and maybe even more at times. Will Ospreay, I mean, it's just incredible. So even though AEW doesn't quite have the in-person representation, they got the stars. Toni Storm is you know, I think the women's biggest star, bar none, across all promotions right now. So good for AEW for stepping up and showing out on this pay-per-view.
All right. Well, it's been fun, fellas. But that's going to do it for tonight's episode of Off the Ropes. For Dirt Sheet Brandon Ogden, Jeremy the Jim Diamond, the Professor Diggs, Big Goose KO Kyle Owens, I'm Mr. NetSN Red Swinney, signing off for this evening. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time right here on Off the Ropes.
Catch a vibe, catch a foot when I drive. Big pressure, I apply. In the ring, you both survive. Yeah, I swerve when I drive. Yeah, I swerve when I drive. Yeah, I swerve when I drive. You hit me, you lost your mind. Pedal to the middle, I'm a rebel. Wings, no belly. Ass over bitches on schedule. I'm a heavy. Knock you up quick like federal. You need better. Jump wings like Yahoo. You with me is impossible. Jump to a grip, I don't sweat, but I grip. Ain't no movie, it's a grip, very fast. It's a hit, hit. Dog, rich, chin, music, is a hit. Turn table, you hit. Bro, catch a vibe, catch a foot when I drive. Big pressure, I apply. In the ring, you won't survive. Yeah, I swerve when I drive. Yeah, I swerve when I drive. Yeah, I swerve when I drive. You hit me, you lost your mind. Bro, catch a